Morning as we get going here on a Tuesday. BAC to the upside. Citigroup just coming out, just reading through some of the numbers as well this morning as well. We'll get to those in a second here. We're also getting a couple of data points. Import prices for the month of March, downside right now, negative 0.1% versus a positive 0.1% print expected there. Export prices coming in dead flat versus a 0.2% uptick expected there. New York Empire State Manufacturing Index as well. Pretty negative there. Negative 8 was expected to be even worse, though. Negative 18 on that number. 2.5% there for export prices again for March versus basically 2.5% expected there. A couple of Fed speakers to deal with later in the day today. Barkin coming up around 10:30, 11:30 actually, that is this morning. And then we'll get Fed's Cook later in the day. So we're dealing with negative numbers here once again, but could be a lot worse. I think we are red for the overall market here to the tune of about 0.4%. But coming off what happened over the past week or so, I mean, the volatility coming off here a little bit this morning. Yes, there are some negative catalysts, but we'll see how things shape up here.
Yeah, a lot less red than we were used to seeing these days, Brenda, to build on your point. So lots to talk about today. AMD in focus as they will be, they announced actually, they're going to be building their new AI processors at TSMC's Arizona plant. So there will be no tariffs there under the 2-nanometer process. So important headline there. As you mentioned, Bank of America reported, Citigroup also reported. Zuck took to the stand yesterday. Lots of new information about the direction of Facebook was revealed during his testimony yesterday. We're going to be covering that, Brendo. Bull ran up aggressively. Webull, it SPAC'd last week, 300 some odd %. So we'll see if it continues today. And Boeing, you got to mention Boeing, China putting the kibosh on the orders.
Yeah, not good. Boeing down almost 4% there at the lows. That's Webull right now. Yeah, 15%. Doesn't look like much because yesterday was massive, but yeah, almost 15% to the downside here for Bull. Another earnings name, J&J this morning, also downside 1.8%. Cancer drug sales good, but the forecast a little bit lagging here. So the initial move was upside for Johnson & Johnson this morning. They give that back, so we'll keep an eye on J&J as well, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. 15% pullback in.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, Webull 15%. I mean, that's not even a move at all. 15% is nothing in Webull. Like it'll move. It was 400% yesterday, so call it a hiccup. It's still above $50. We've seen these plays last for a few days, so I don't know if it's completely dead yet, but I just reminded myself that I need to pay for some locates, so I'm going to go ahead and do that because I think if it makes like double tops or just starts falling apart, you can start to work at the back end. Oh, I'm just upset about Boeing, man. Like Boeing was looking pretty good today if it wasn't for this news. If you all you had to do was not have bad news, and Boeing looked like a pretty strong stock for potential breakout above 162. Instead, now it looks like a fade off 157.5. Why? Because she says that you're not supposed to buy. Do not take any deliveries of jets to the Chinese airlines. So I think it's not a great headline for Boeing, unfortunately. And it was looking so good. Showing some love to Oxbridge. Lawn love. Buddy Rob.
Name.
No, it's true.
Neil's mic pack is not working. All right, so yeah, Randy, thank you for the food. All right, guys, yeah, we'll get Neil all figured out. Yeah, look, great day here to start. Only down 0.3. We have some negative stories, but at the end of the day, Nvidia expediting now from President Trump all permits, and he said that any U.S. company that comes through will be getting those expedited permits so we can build America great again faster. So that should be interesting here. Tesla on the way down 1%, not looking the greatest here. But yeah, everything is, I don't know. Like yesterday was a good day. We started off one way, ended the other. Down 0.3 today seems fine. It's been very mixed reviews here this morning. That number came out, didn't do much. Started to get a little bit of a pop right now. Looking at Bitcoin breaking up, trying to hold 86, between 85, 86 right now. So that's all been pretty good. I hadn't checked out on oil yet. Roblox moving around. Obviously, we're looking at earnings coming through this week. We have TSMC later on. We had Applied Materials yesterday getting hit here today. For that one, we got ASML. So we're starting to get back into the swing of things a little bit here. Bank of America starts the day off nicely here with 1.34%. So that's going to be a good little mover here. I actually have it on the sticky note today to buy some dips. We had a great call when JP Morgan reported, and we didn't take that at 226. So right now it's trying to look to see if we can buy something here in BAC. 37 looks like a decent top. That could be coming in ASAP off the open. We do have a pretty mixed shelf here early. Nothing on the board to look at from what I'm noticing. I think XOM down near this $100 mark. I mean, that's at like back to, we were looking at it, I think it was 2017, 2018, things like that, back to $100 again. So I think that could be something. And then there's Bitcoin down there at 85.6. So yeah, it should be a pretty decent. Oh, someone said oil there. I think it must be flat.
It is
right?
down a little bit.
Is it down a little bit? Yeah, because right now we don't have too much action. Oh, my chart collapsed. Oh, yeah, down 0.64%. So, yeah, different things happening overall. You know, Blue Ocean, I was talking to some traders yesterday. That continues to be a pretty successful offering here at Real Trading to trade sort of after hours so you can get a good look on what's going on before we open up here. But yeah,
it gives you good levels. Yesterday, I was trying to show something on Blue Ocean in the afternoon show, but was unable to. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But if you looked at Alibaba, it was Alibaba in particular. So this is overnight. So it's overnight, like a separate session on Alibaba. And just have a look at the overnight double top at 113, right? So that was not last night, but the night before. Double top at the 113 level. And then look at Alibaba in yesterday's trade. So yesterday's trade, it was a clean break through 113, and then where did it dip into in the afternoon or at lunchtime for support? Right to that 113 level. So if you have access to Blue Ocean, look OTC Moon, just to be able to look at where the ranges are on some of these names aftermarket, especially the Asian stocks, I think it can be. Let's just say I think it can be definitely informative. Like I look at. Right now, 112 double bottomed in there. So as BABA comes back in a little bit, I mean, it's not really in that much, only down 0.5%. I feel like that 112 is going to come into play. So these overnight levels, they matter for a lot of the Chinese ADRs. BABA was a great example of that. You got a good afternoon bounce trade just by looking at the previous night's key levels. Ooh, and the refill on the coffee.
Yeah, this guy's on fire. All right, thanks, Randy. Yeah, no, I was looking to fade out Alibaba. Boeing. You were saying Bob, and I was thinking Boeing.
No, there's going to be a lot of that.
Oh, man, yeah.
Is BAC as well today?
Boeing times 2. Ba.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's go back over to the desk. I got BAC, I got the NASDAQ, I got Tesla, I got Boeing, all on my mind. So we're going to get ready to go on that. Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey. Oh, yeah, we have NFL draft coming up soon, so that should be really fun. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders, where he's going to wind up going, but...
Well, the problem now is that Carr has a bad shoulder.
Right, so
the Saints want a quarterback, and the Saints pick 9, Panthers are at 8, and the Panthers are probably telling every single team, hey, you want to trade in front of the Saints to take Shedeur? Is Pittsburgh
going to draft Jackson Dart? I mean, I don't know who's going to be available.
I think that guy's overrated.
Which guy's going to be going first there? Cam Ward, and then the next quarterback off the board. I guess we'll have to wait to see who that's going to be. So, all right, let's get going and go back over to the desk.
Just reading through Canadian inflation data coming out here. Wednesday, we got a Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Just noting 50% chance now of another interest rate cut coming through tomorrow morning. I believe it's 10 o'clock. It's usually around 10 o'clock we get that number. We'll bring it to you. Here's the year-over-year look for this side of the border, 2.3%. The forecast was for 2.8%. Came in last time, if you remember, 2.6% for us. So core inflation, 2.2% on this side of the border versus 2.8%. So I don't know what really to make of that at this point. I mean, we're already back to where they want it to be.
Yep.
We'll get another cut, obviously, coming up tomorrow, and then see how things shape up after that.
Just to clarify, we know that the Bank of Canada doesn't have that same strict 2% guideline
of course, yeah.
like the Federal Reserve in the United States. It's a plus or minus 1% off that too. That's number one. Number two, we've already seen this very aggressive push in Canada, buy in Canada, which usually means buy at higher prices. So there is that kind of inflationary aspect to this patriotic movement that there's been. There's also the issue of inflation, that the consistent inflation of things coming from south of the border. So we'll continue to watch that, Brendo. But I was reading some articles that we could possibly get a pause. And so we'll have to wait and see how Tiff Macklem wants to crumble this cookie, but should be interesting.
Yeah, I was just noting up from 40% after that number this morning. So 50% chance of a cut tomorrow. That's up from 40%. Prior to that. So inflation's still heading in the right direction for us at this point. Our economy, as you were saying, nowhere near comparable, however. I was just looking at this Netflix with a pop after the close yesterday. We'll get Netflix earnings coming up Thursday this week, back to 950 here. Not a lot of volume behind this, but pretty good look to start things off for Netflix. Whole bunch of new content coming out in the past couple of weeks here ahead of earnings.
Like, I know it's off the highs, but when you make the comparison, relatively speaking, some of the other maybe Mag 7 names, this is not even close to off the highs where it was. I think we topped out there a little bit less than 1,100. I think 1,067, and we're trying to get back above 1,000, Brendo. So not as hard hit, I think, as some of these others.
Yeah, this daily chart is clearly broken. Netflix, though, guys, looking pretty strong here this morning.
Yeah, well, it's one of those days where it's like a regular 2% move ends up being climbing the board. Like when the worst down stock, forget about Webull, the worst down stock that I'm looking at is that Boeing that's at 3.5% down. Your biggest up stock is only a couple points on Netflix. I mean, the only negative thing I'd say about Netflix is I like Netflix. I went all into Netflix when I sold my Disney. It's like the only, well, it's not fair to say it's the only streamer I own because I own shares of Amazon and Apple. So. But I do prefer them as the winner. It just doesn't trade incredibly cheap right now. And if you look at the daily chart here, like that aftermarket spike went right to 960 in the 50-period moving average, comes right back underneath, and for now it could just be setting up a little bit of a topping tail. Like I want to see it breaking this 960 again. Prove that you're through this $950 resistance that's just been sitting here every single day. Like that's it's a prove me over the top market. If you see resistance like that, show me there's buyers above it before you get incredibly bullish or constructive. Otherwise, you wait for the dips, like the real dips, because that's been the point. Like when there's been bigger panic dips, that's where you really want to be buying. Like look at the multi-day rally, the turnaround, the big down day followed by the massive up day. When you're just consolidating off the top, that's generally been a place for the resistance and the sellers to win at least the last couple of weeks. I still like Netflix, but you got to show me something above the $950 as you're already sliding. If the second it got over there, you're just slowly grinding down underneath. So that's a very key price level. And even if it breaks 950, you've got that 960 and the 50 period on the daily that needs to contend with on Netflix before it can make another run at that $1,000 level. Look, I like it relatively speaking, but got some shorts. This is not a stock I'd be shorting today, though. I'll tell you that much.
No, I mean, Netflix, there is a note out there that they're trying to get to $1 trillion market cap. Yeah, I think they can easily do that. It's the go-to, right? I mean, like we were mentioning there, a lot of different foreign projects coming online. It's just, I don't know if Squid Game 2 did anything. I think that was trying to move the needle a little bit. But we already saw, when it was Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, they literally broke the internet, where Netflix couldn't stream anymore, and they had so many membership signups that it was pretty unbelievable. So I think this, again, very, very tariff exempt Netflix is. We know how hot live sports is. We just talked about what the Masters and what a great experience that was, just even to watch that. Netflix dipping their toes into many different things. They have that F1. They have all those they have the golf, following around the golfers. I don't know what you call those things, but, behind the scenes stuff, that sort of HBO and ESPN, they sort of started that stuff. But Netflix now doing it, F1 golf, lots of stuff happening with Netflix. I like the stock. They're getting into the games. They're on every platform. I think it continues to work. And with their goal, with the CEO coming out and saying they want to get to 1 trillion, I mean, now they've got a goal. So I like it. They're obviously looking at stock price and market cap. Let's let Netflix cook, I guess. I mean, as Sharif had mentioned, you're one of the best looking big cap kind of tech stocks around right now, well above, it didn't even sniff the 200 period moving average. Like that was 860, basically the low. 810 was the 200 period moving average. So you got to really like what Netflix is showing here. S&P and NASDAQ both down like 12 and 8% respectively. And, Netflix looks to be pretty good here so far this year. So yeah, I would still say no need to get long or short at these levels. I would just say hold. I mean, it's looking pretty good. And then if the market does dip down, I saw another study that it was where 54% of like big money, I don't know what classifies that, is still waiting for a larger move down, I guess, in some kind of a survey. We all know that surveys don't necessarily give us the truth, but I still think on a move down, Netflix would be one that we'd be looking to pick up. So it's hard to trade it. I don't know if you guys want to put in the chat if there's like a Netflix proxy or anything that we could trade. But this is another lever. I just heard Neil say it right there. Like splitting is a possibility at any point, right? So we could wait for their report that comes on Thursday. And then what about if Netflix goes, we'll go down 20 to 1. And all of a sudden this is a $50 stock. If this becomes a $50 stock, it's an $80 stock real quick after that. So you better watch out for Netflix if they announce a split. There's no way, and you know what, that I would be short this thing heading into their earnings report. So that's a little take there on Netflix. But
NFXL, that's the one.
Oh, NFXL has it? Yeah, $38, $39. So NFXL. Probably a 2X.
I mean, it's like, I feel like that's such an easy thing to typo if you're just trying to type Netflix to end up on this one.
I feel like NFXL sounds like NFL. Oh, here, I'll call it up for you guys. I know.
Well, it does. Like it's weird because usually
so it's 2 times.
It doesn't really matter. It's a 2X bull that allows you to trade it for $38 instead of 11.
Might be okay. The only thing is, so I just want to show everybody when I look at this, like. For a trader, like for a swing trader, it might be fine because you're just going to sit and try to catch prices. But for a day trader, there's definitely not enough liquidity in this name to trade. So thank you for bringing it up. But these are the levels that you're looking for when you're trading, right? Easy to define. Anyways, NFXL, thank you for that, everybody in the chat there. So, so spready, there we go. So Adara likes Netflix there. So again, you need different styles for different traders. But all right, we've got, once again, a big guest for us on the show. And hold on a second here. I just want to, I have to be very, very similar. I mean, us cool guys only roll one way. Maybe I did. Okay, anyways, we're getting ready to go. It's Mitch time.
Dress code today. He's like trying to make us look bad or something. Mitch, are you going to a wedding later or something? What's with the tie?
Hey, the name Money Mitch doesn't. You can't just have that name without looking like money, guys. I mean, I'm trying to make it today, guys. It's another great week to
Mitch,
trade.
we have a very strict no tie policy around here. To a point where if you were actually physically in the office, it may or may not get cut off, but that's fine. We'll give it the pass for this time. I appreciate
I say one thing: you can't judge a man how he sits on his couch, but you can judge a man how he looks in a suit. That's one thing for certain.
Looking sharp, man. You're looking sharp. A lot to talk about. Let's actually start with Netflix here because I mean it's the first on the tech side of things that we're going to get this week coming up Thursday for earnings. Give me your thoughts here. I mean, Sharif and I were just talking. I mean, this thing is, if you go to a weekly time frame, this thing's gone straight up since 2022.
Yeah, I mean, it's done really well. It was a surprising one. I remember when there was a time when it was coming down, people were thinking, would it ever get back to the top? Well, it definitely did so. And today mentions of more live sports, right? We all remember, of course, the Tyson fight that brought so many subscribers and a big run to the stock. I expect to see more and more mentions like that. And what have you been seeing Netflix try to battle to do is get more sports rights, right? Like getting after the NFL, right? Bringing us Christmas games and things like that. I think we continue to see them jump into areas where they can grab subscribers because it's exclusive, right? Exclusivity is what they're trying to continue doing. And they're going to continue making their shows, but they realize there's a big audience in sports that will pay even if they have to just to get Netflix for the month and then watch those live sports. So I'll continue to see the story come out of Netflix. I don't feel too positive about the stock during a time when we're starting to get concerned about consumer spending, but we all know everyone keeps Netflix and cuts everything else.
Yeah, this is that weekly look I was talking about there. I mean, the volatility in the overall market not really showing up on a weekly time frame here so far for Netflix, looking relatively strong. I mean, we've had the conversation around here many, many times. The simple fact that I think a lot of people don't even know how much they're paying for Netflix on a monthly basis and are happy to just continue, paying the Visa bill that it, comes off of every single month. So let's continue along the earnings train here. We got some of the big banks to kick things off at the end of last week. A few more here this morning. BAC, one of those, Citigroup, another. Not necessarily, super exciting as far as earnings reports, but give me your thoughts on the bank.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were looking for kind of credit provisions and things like that. Was the concern in the banks where they're getting ready to kind of capture some of the action there if it was coming down in the markets. I think that we saw in the earnings that they were still able to beat. And I think in a Trump environment, one of the things that we can't forget is how regulatory has been really kind of being reduced in the banking industry. I remember a quote from Bank of America CEO asking that he would actually like to see more stringent restrictions on the bank. And when I hear a bank CEO tell me that things are getting loose, well, I think that we can continue to watch to see what happens here. If we can climb the wall of uncertainty with tariffs, I think this is the area to look for the upside. Now, if we continue to getting hit and the consumer slows down, this is also the concern, because before this, I don't think anyone was really thinking recession, but the tariffs have really brought on that recession talk, and that's another reason why you're seeing these banks pull back. I think if there's any way the market gets back to all-time highs, it needs the financials to catch a run.
Yeah, well said. Speaking of all-time highs, I mean, we sat here a week ago in the midst of some of the highest volatility that we've seen in a long time. A lot of that has come off. I mean, we're still nowhere near where we were as far as the VIX is concerned. This 90-day pause has given, I think, people a chance to kind of take a step back, take a breath, and really, have a higher look at the overall market. Is there anything that's standing out for you right now that's really interesting?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, we just got the first death cross in 3 years, so that's not a good sign. But one thing that usually happens whenever I see that death cross happen, a lot of the times we'll get a kind of relief rally into that, because everyone sees the word death cross and they think, well, today's the day to go shorting. Well, maybe not. So I'd slow that down a little bit. I'd be looking for maybe a quick little relief rally, then the wall of worry coming back as that 90 days starts to give up, right? We don't know if there's going to be a real deal, a big deal with China before those 90 days are up. So that's what you need to be looking at. And I think that if you're looking for areas that are getting strong right now, it's kind of interesting. Yes, we've seen tech rally back. It's been about 9% in a week. But if you look at it, one of the areas that has continued this strength throughout this time and did pull back were the staples and the utility names. So those are the names that I would say they're not sexy, but they're continuing to lift. So that tells me that investors are still looking for safety here. So I'm looking to see utilities continuing to get a move, names like Duke. You can look into names like Excel, right? Southern Energy. I'm gonna definitely be looking at these names to continue getting the lift. And this could be an area where you see investors rotate to in times of uncertainty. So when the market comes down, look to see if utilities and the staples are getting the lift.
A couple of, forget about safety. Let's talk about things that are exciting. Nvidia and AMD. I mean, AMD kind of quietly this morning with a headline talking about moving some of their production into the U.S. Nvidia, last week and into this week with more of the same here. Price is not really reacting in the way I think a lot of people might have thought it would. I mean, both very quiet here this morning. But give me your thoughts on the semiconductor space overall, and do we see more of this?
Yeah, I think we're still in a worry about what's going to happen with the actual specifics that come out on semiconductors. That's what we're all looking for. We're looking for clarity in this space. Of course, we did get the lift throughout the weekend because we saw exemptions, but it wasn't a specific list, right? And now we need to be looking a little bit deeper to see what do we get out of Trump? Do we get some specifics here? And I think that that's the worry out there right now. Of course, what's his goal? And I mentioned it last week when I came on the show, right? That I think that it's a big manufacturing boom, right? He's trying to create this big industrial revolution now in 2025, right? And I think that we need to continue to watch to see if he's able to continue to pull money. That's why Nvidia is coming out with these comments. That's why the Trump is reiterating these comments on a tweet today and kind of like a chess move, chest out move. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. The only question is he going to get there?
Time will tell. I mean, it remains to be seen. We're running a little bit tight on that ourselves. Give me your top idea here today as we head towards the open this morning.
Yeah, I think you got to continue to watch how the auto manufacturers perform today. Of course, with comments like Trump saying that he's looking at ways to kind of push back the tariffs because he knows that they came knocking on the door. Ford and GM saying that if you continue on the path that you're on, you're going to destroy these companies. You destroy these companies, you destroy more workers, and in a big area that supports Trump, right? And so I think we got to continue to watch this. I also think this was a little part of Elon knocking on the door and saying that we need a little bit of a pressure off in the auto manufacturer space, especially as Elon sees Tesla coming down, right? We all see auto delinquencies going at their highest right now. So that's why I say watch the used auto trade, but I think in the auto parts might be a little better because we saw in CarMax's earnings that even they couldn't do well in this environment. So I think you watch for the auto parts, AutoZone, those types of names. I know they're hard to get, but if you stay small, you might be able to ride a trend here for used cars versus new cars.
More worrying comments on the auto side coming out of this country this morning as well, and potentially some job losses to go along with it. Scan that QR code on screen.
Bull, what a ride on Bull. Did you guys see that monster? I mean, wow. You can't get the name right. Like a lot of new IPOs come out with a name that just doesn't give it the lift. But I think that really helped it. I called yesterday a move through 30 off a symmetrical triangle. I'm going to be looking to see what happens now with Bull. We'll be watching to see if it can make a move or not. I think that you'll get one of these kind of bull traps on that name. So I'm going to be actually looking to short into hourly resistance. We'll see if we're able to go ahead and nail that. That's one of the great things, of course, at Trade the Pool. We can get short on these names that just come out and just go over on SPACs. Well, let's go hammer that today. Let's see if we can get after some bull.
Yeah, downside here so far this morning. Mitch Hoke, great stuff as always. Careful with that tie today, okay?
Hey, watch out with those reversals, man. It's the contrarian market out there.
We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, Mitch. And yeah, bull was absolutely insane. But it's two things that got mentioned, Death Cross and then talking about CarMax. Look, it wasn't just the S&P that did a Death Cross. Tesla did it. CarMax had one a couple of days ago, the day after their report. But what's interesting, to that point, and just to show you on CarMax what happened when the 50 crossed to 200 for the little death cross, you have gotten a little bit of a relief rally. So it makes the earnings bottom. There's the death cross. Obviously, whenever a death cross happens, you can tell by looking at the chart that it's in a downward pattern oftentimes. Like it should be obvious at that point because you get your 50 period is going to be downward sloping if this is even occurring. But the obvious thing here is you did get a little bit of a relief rally. Not much of one. I think that's sort of the problem. Like you get a relief rally after a death cross. You think maybe some people entering shorts would be a little bit quick to, ooh, it's not happening yet. But when I look at this stock in that settle down phase, always want to see, does it start holding double bottom, that kind of a thing. CarMax is, knock on wood, it's already held. You had the close 67, open 67, hold 67. So it holds that today, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a little bit of bottom for that little bit of a relief rally on CarMax at that 67. But the spread on this is insane. Doesn't look like it's going to be much of a day trade. The volume looking pretty terrible. One of the things I do like, though, I actually like that little relief rally type trade or little mini breakout or little mini buy and hold when you get a death cross, because there's so many people that look to enter short positions, especially swing trades. And if they start to get blown out, their out is your exit liquidity on a short-term long. So that's one of the things that I always pay attention to, like who's your counterparty in a trade. It's why I like mean reversion, because I know who my counterparty is if I'm playing a mean revert. It's if I'm reverting a stock that's going up and going short, then your out is people that are long the whole day and taking their profits and trailing out. And those little pullbacks are good for you. So and we'll see if CarMax can hold that 67. Not a lot of volume in here today just yet. And as I mentioned, Tesla with the death cross as well. So the SPY, Tesla, a host of other names with this same exact setup on the daily with the 50 crossing underneath the 200 period moving average. What happens when you have a market pullback?
All right, a few other things to consider here this morning. As we said, there is going to be some Fed speakers today. I'm not even sure this matters at this point as far as this market is concerned, but you never know. We'll keep an eye out for comments that could move things around. I mean, overall, the market just kind of hanging out here as we get towards the open, but trying to get back to positive right now. There it is, green. For the NASDAQ. Good time to look at the overall market.
Well, good segue, Brendo. The ES still marginally red, but hopefully getting into green territory. 54.42, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract with the 55.50 just staring at me in the face as a level of resistance. It's been that way for the better part of a couple of weeks. So we're looking at 55.50, despite the fact that the overnight high is 5,500, excuse me, as resistance. The overnight high 54.63. If we continue to sell off, we're going to look to yesterday's general area low as support 53.75.
I don't know about you, but that looks like it's holding higher to me.
It's not too bad
on that time frame anyways. We'll take it at this point. If you haven't done so, jump down to the description of this video, grab the absolutely free watch list, top link will get you to the sign up page, and then all you need is your email address, and you can have that every single day. We did mention it briefly, but we'll kick things off here with Boeing. This morning, one of the worst off here so far this morning, as we were saying, the market just going green. Boeing trying to get back to 154, but not good headlines coming out of China here for Boeing.
No, China has ordered all of its airlines to suspend new Boeing jet deliveries, specifically impacting the 737 MAX. The move is part of the retaliatory tariffs of about 125% tariffs on U.S. goods. Airlines are also instructed to halt purchases of aircraft parts and equipment from U.S. companies, so we'll keep an eye out on that. About 10 Boeing 737 MAX jets are actually being prepared right now for Chinese airlines, Brendo. Deliveries may still proceed if and only if the paperwork and the payments were finalized prior to the new tariff, so we'll keep an eye out on that. And there's just more global industry repercussions. It's not just China. Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary told the Financial Times his airlines may delay delivery of 25 Boeing aircraft slated for 25 and 26 deliveries. The decision will depend on whether what he calls common sense prevails in trade, Brendo, whatever that means.
I was reading an opinion on X here on this morning, and I feel like they'll have no problem finding other homes for this inventory, even if this happens. So might be why we're not down a little bit more here from Boeing this morning.
It's not doom and gloom disaster per se, but it's also not a positive. And the yo-yo action of the market persists. I swear in the afternoon yesterday, I was looking at some charts, and there was a point that I'm like, ooh, Boeing could be a breakout tomorrow. And it would have been through like 162.60 or almost close to the 63. You can kind of see, if I zoom it out, you can see a little bit better. Like, ooh, we could break this out and head to 170 if we get a little bullish. No, the absolute opposite happened to gap down, and this is a simple support to resistance story for me. Last week, Thursday and Friday, 157.5 was resistance. Yesterday, 157.5 was the bottom, so that's where I want to look to be shorting on Boeing. I think it's just, ultimately the other thing you got to consider here for Boeing is there was just a very good rally. I mean, everything rallied, but there was a very good rally and a strong one off the bottom. Like, not everything, made this kind of a push, like 15, 20%, depending on where people would have gotten in. Great bottoming tail candle on volume, doesn't get to 50. A lot of times in a market like this, people are very quick to take bounce profit. And if they're quick to take bounce profit, then resistance levels show up, and I respect them in this type of a market. So 157.5 on Boeing. I'm looking for the pop and fade at the open here. In the long term, the good thing is you haven't had that same run of like the really bad news. You haven't heard all the bad stories about production and quality concern issues. That seems to be abating. So I think that's a good sign for them in the long term. But at least for today, that 157.5 is a short.
Oh, Fabian, yeah. Boeing. So I have Boeing written down here on the sticky note as a short. I assume Neil was probably talking about a short. Up there near 158. That's what I had written down here for Boeing on the note today. Look, it's not a great story, but we'll get it all figured out. I don't think it's a long-term issue here. But again, it's just different levers being pulled when we talk about, this chess game that's going on here again. So I like Boeing at these levels. It's a short for me at 158.
The wildest one over the past couple of days here, Webull, back in, I think, a lot of people's radar today so far. 12.8% right now, back under 60. Not a heck of a lot to talk about as far as news is concerned, but man, oh man, what a day yesterday.
It was crazy. I loved it. We were trading it on the midday show. It was good times. Hopefully we'll be looking at it again. Let's talk about how they did. 375% was the move yesterday. That's in addition to the 167%, guys, that it put in on Friday. So good look there. We'll keep an eye on this one. Webull now commands, believe it or not, a market cap of around $30 billion. Just to give you some idea of the platform here, they compete with Robinhood, Schwab, E-Trade. They offer stocks, ETFs, options, crypto trading. That's why they're really attractive to the current user. The global reach here, about 23 million registered users across 15 different regions. It was founded in 2016, Brendo, by an Alibaba Xiaomi executive by the name of Wang Akwan. Investors include Cotu, General Atlantic, Lightspeed. Just to give you some idea of how much money they made last year, about $390 million was the total revenue in 2024. And their valuation at $30 billion here reflects a valuation of 76 times sales. So guys, be on the lookout for the mean reversion. I think Mitch did mention that earlier.
Yeah, relatively small float here as well, which could explain, a lot of what happened yesterday. But still, 500 million market cap as we sit here this morning. I think that's, if you pull up Robinhood, just off the top of my head, it's going to be a lot higher. But anyway, downside right now, 15%, guys, for Webull coming off what happened.
Yeah, it's like $8 billion.
It's hard to sit here and value the company and say the movements have anything to do with, market cap or anything other than that. We've seen sort of IPOs, and this is, of course, is a SPAC, so that means it's $10, de-SPACed, so it got away from the $10, and now you're going to start to make a move higher, right? We've seen this with DWAC and with a lot of different names that were SPACs at one point. And just started to blow up yesterday, and I think that all of the halts created nice upside moves today, and especially near the end of the day there. That was one halt there, had a downside move. The next halt did create another downside move there. I wonder if the game is up on Webull here. I don't want to say that it is, but I'm looking over here. If we break that back down below 40, then that's where you get into halt fest. So if we break below 40, then you have very much no liquidity. There's no volume profiles here. All we did was gap through this whole area. So if we come back into $40, I think we could start to gap back into some levels where there was actually trading happening. So for me, its real home is somewhere where the levels were pretty consistent until we got excited again. But at the same time, we did have some decent trading between $42 and $46 again here with some nice volume early. So that's why I think if you're going to go long on Webull today, you basically just go ahead of that first, it's not the first halt, but the last halt before we actually traded was right into here, $40, $41. So I like this long. I think you could take a 41, 42, 43 long. I mean, I don't know how specific we have to get because this thing's going to move dollars. But if you just sit here at this level is 43, I think if you grab a 43 long and honestly give yourselves $3, like percentage-wise, 8%, it's going to be a lot to probably lose $3 on 43. But at the end of the day, you share size appropriately, and you don't hold it through, in my opinion, this halt right here, which is 41, 40, 50. You know, zoom in and figure that out. But at the end of the day, I think it's dangerous to try to guess what's going to happen underneath 40. It's just too many gaps. The volume spikes are just on reopens and things like that. So the air rate here is pretty thin. And I just, I'm not sure how much room there is to breathe if you hold Webull. So going long at 43 and getting out at 26 is a day ruiner, a month ruiner, a week, whatever. So I think you have to be very diligent and get out if it breaks back down below $40. But again, if you're looking for something to happen today, the NASDAQ's pretty flat and we don't have like the huge rippers around here. So I would say Webull could probably be a strong stock to trade.
Yeah, it's going to move today. There's no question about it on Webull. It brings to mind Newsmax a little bit, everybody. Because if you remember, now Newsmax, the bigger day for Newsmax was the second day. So I think Webull's yesterday probably more aligned with some of what you saw on that day to the crazy day on Newsmax. What was interesting about that was the afternoon support was that here's like 167 just after 2 o'clock. So there's your 2 o'clock support level. And then the following day at the open, it lost it, tried to bounce off that post 2 o'clock or afternoon rally spot, and then trended down after the fact. Well, if Bull does anything resembling that, Webull here, the afternoon support level, there's 56, where you can pretty plainly see it on the 15 or whatever your time frame is, and that's what we're testing now. So if we fail this right away at the open, I think it is in pullback territory at that point. So I think it's a key over-under at that 56. It was kind of an interesting line in the sand. It was straight, not parabolic up, but very steady Eddie upside. And when it made the dip, that was where the buying came in. So I'd call it more like 55 just because that's the round number. 55, 56. It's a simple over-under level. I just paid so I have them 1 cent per share. Here at Real Trading, 1 1/3 cents per share, technically speaking, for shares to be able to go short. But I don't want to be trying to short tops. Like the only way that I'm interested in shorting that is if you see what you saw in Newsmax on that second day or third day, which was at the open, fail the level. I guess I have to zoom way out here. Fail that level, try to bounce, fail it again, and then trending down. So I want to see it develop a down pattern that holds resistance at 55. Then I think it's a short. For now at the open, I'll just be someone watching Webull like everybody else.
All right, we mentioned it briefly there with Mitch. If you're with us, we were talking a little bit about manufacturing coming back to the U.S. Trump on X this morning touting the deal again with Nvidia. AMD planning on doing the same thing, moving some production to Nevada. Both of these trying to get back to positive territory right now. This is AMD about to get there. Basically flat right now, but looking pretty good so far here.
Yeah, and AMD needs a good catalyst here, Brendo. It's been a tough time, but tough year for them. So AMD will produce its high-performance computing chips, HPC for short, in the U.S. for the first time ever, using Taiwan Semi's new Fab 21 out in Arizona. The production will focus on AMD's upcoming EPYC Venice processor, built on Taiwan's Semiconductor's best technology, that 2-nanometer process. So we'll have to see how that all works out. The launch is slated for 2026, which is obviously reinforcing AMD's push to stay competitive and build in the United States. Some supply chain context, though, here. Previously, all of AMD's chips were produced at TSMC's facilities out in Taiwan. This will be the first time they're actually producing it locally here in North America. The shift to Arizona is obviously part of that broader tech sector movement to localize manufacturing, Brendo, because of rising political tensions, the U.S.-China trade war, and that eye-watering 145% tariffs on Chinese imports.
I mean, let's see if they can actually make this work. Arizona, obviously not Nevada. I mentioned Nevada there. Nvidia is on the other side of the spectrum here. I'm just keeping an eye on Citigroup. Just be aware there is some comments coming through. The earnings call appears to be on here for Citi right back down.
Oh, those bank earnings calls. You know how I feel about those. But I see it, Mr. Westermeyer. D. Westermeyer in the chat just said, Neil, check your email. So appreciate you, Mr. Westermeyer. Apparently exactly 1 year. Well, I'm assuming it's a year ago today. Otherwise, why would you be sending me this? 1 year ago today was when we did the Bring Sally Up challenge. There's Sharif looking like, I didn't think it was a year ago today. Anyways, this was fun that we did, and the only reason I bring it up, and thank you for showing this, Mr. Westermeyer, there still hasn't been the push-up challenge between Sharif and Joe. So I just want to say that when I was challenged to do the Bring Sally Up, I dropped down and did it. It's ridiculously hard. I didn't complete it. Sharif completed the challenge. If you know what the Bring Sally Up challenge is, it's pretty hard. It's only 30 push-up, but there's like all the pausing and all that nonsense. If David Goggins is huffing and puffing when he does it, then obviously it's difficult. But shout out to you, Mr. Westermeyer, and Joe and Sharif. You got to do it. At some point, it has to happen, because I feel as if at the beginning of the downtrend of AMD, like right around here, is probably when you guys said you were going to do this push-up challenge. So apparently AMD can't bounce until you guys do this.
Neil, I love how you're basing it on the downtrend of the AMD. Like that's your time slot there. No, I'm not making fun. It's just interesting.
I'm just saying it is. Maybe it's not, but as far as I'm concerned now, that's just how it is. And everybody that owns AMD shares now has to be angry with you two for not doing this challenge.
Joe, did you do your push-ups this morning?
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah.
See, the thing is here, guys, when you have an event this large, you need to build it up, right? When two superstars are about to go at it, we can't just do it real quick. We need to get right into it.
Said.
We need to work out. We need to try to make it as big as possible, and that's why it's kind of been prolonged.
Are we
right?
anticipating like maybe training videos, video montages of you doing push-ups, stuff like that?
Major camp, guys. Major camp.
Okay. All right, fine.
Let's just give the people what they want. I mean, my money's still on Sharif. Just throwing that out there. No, just very quickly for AMD, and we'll talk AMD, Nvidia. Obviously, AMD has had a rough go of it. The one thing that I'm very interested in today for AMD is Friday close level, the 93.5, double bottomed it. So that's an easy over-under for me. If we're bouncing off this, trend into the fade at 96.5. If we lose that bid, short. AMD. The trend has been down. You know what's up with it. Nvidia has a very similar style look where you're looking at Friday's close, but it's just a little choppy in that range. What I think is obvious is the 115 double top that we have locally now. I think underneath that, it's a bit of a fade. Both of these are breakouts above those like yesterday and then last week's highs. They're both breakouts above, but I think fading into it first. I have to say it because it's just what we're doing. Intel was my best short yesterday because it was a clean, mean reversion off 21. And there's something I always say, like whatever the thing that works the best for you yesterday was, if you're not at least looking at it today, you're doing something wrong. So because that was such a good reversal, and I'll go to a 3-minute so you can see a little bit better, it was a very good trend reverse on Intel, essentially going from 21 to 20. If you got the trend reverse, it was in here at like 2080. So it was a good one. I want to look for the same thing. I want to do a pop and fade in Intel if we get up to 2065. That would be when I first look for the fade. And obviously, if we get to 21, I'd try to put it on. So that trend reverse has been working. It was great on Intel yesterday. I look to recreate that magic again today.
All right, let's touch on BAC here. Again, Citigroup, still seeing some comments coming through from the earnings call. I think Bank of America is on as well, but mostly over here. 2.6%. About to take out the highs here. Not a lot on the negative side as far as this earnings report goes this morning. Looking pretty good.
It was really good, Brendo. Everything really did check out. EPS, 90 pennies, easily beating the 82. Revenue, 27.5 billion, taking out that 26.99 the street was expecting. Net income, $7.4 billion. That's take-home money. That's up 11% year over year. Then even the net interest income, which has been kind of weak for banks lately, 14.6 billion. That was ahead of the 14.56 the street was looking for. Where they made money, Brendo, equities trading. We saw this with JPM. We saw this with Goldman. We saw this with Morgan Stanley. Huge beat here, 17% year-over-year increase on equities trading revenue because of the volatility, 2.2 billion. That beat. Fixed income trading revenue up 5% only, though, 3.5 billion. That beat slightly. The only thing here that kind of missed, and this was no shock because we saw it with the other banks as well, the investment banking fees, Brendo, down 3% year-over-year. And loan loss provisions, I know Mitch mentioned that, 1.5 billion less than the 1.58 the street was looking for, so they didn't take as much of a hit.
What's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem?
No, I mean, we were starting to see some IPOs coming back in, but deal making overall still lagging a little bit for all of these, I feel. But yeah, I mean, as Mitch was saying, as you were saying as well, I think we're going to need to see some of these banks participate if we're going to get a move back to the upside here for the overall market.
Most of the names that I like today, AMD, Boeing. I'll get to Apple in a second because that's on my list. If you're wondering why BAC, one of the only strong stocks, is at the bottom, I don't usually rank the ideas, but I always remember a certain thing. The banks, when they report in the morning and then you've got the earnings calls, you're going to have multiple earnings calls going on, right? So when Citigroup, they'll be awaiting their call. BAC will have already had theirs, and they can move each other around. So I think you have to be a little bit more nimble with these, but the opportunity is there. You know if you're playing support and resistance. One of my favorite setups is strong stock, prior highs, go long. That's $37. It's the pre-market low as well. It's got a lot of runway. This 15-minute chart looks really good for a long setup. It's the kind of level off this 37. And then again, I put my note down here, if it tests prior day support, that's also another resistance level. So even 36.25. That's two shots I want at the long because the setup looks really good to go from this nice little uptrend to consolidate, break out in here. So I want BAC long. Just remembering, everybody, that when you've got bank earnings and Citigroup will have their call, anything that gets said in one is going to potentially affect the others. So you do have to be, head on a swivel or paying attention to your tape, using stop, whatever you do to limit your risk or to manage your risk. It was maybe the first year we were on YouTube. I've told the story before. It was the first year we were on YouTube, and I had this really good WFC position in the morning. No, it was Morgan Stanley. And it was and then the call comes on, and we're cruising in the money, and I use limit order, like stop limit orders, and my limit order missed because it didn't cross front. I wasn't using market orders. And so my stop triggered and should have taken me out just fine. Instead, I ended up taking a hit because there was a lack of liquidity. It was during the call. Something that was said during the call caused that. So, just make sure that you're managing your risk, respecting it. Shout out to Johnny C, and appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat in here. Take a look at TMC, news with Trump and new deal for deep sea mining. Let me know your thoughts. I'll give you a like in there. Johnny C, appreciate that super chat. Not the first. A few people have mentioned TMC this morning. And look, the small cap gappers, I know this is definitely Sharif's thing, but something that I know he will always say is he likes these bad boys over the VWAP, and it's been respecting the volume weighted average price. First major pullback just happened now, and it just tagged that volume weighted average price. What's interesting about it is it's not the typical pull up the daily chart and just find bag hold levels galore or reverse splits or anything nasty with TMC. It's actually a respectable looking chart in a day two type play here that is now cleared out any reasonable bag hold was at about that 320. So you can see the top, there we go, waiting for this thing to load up. You can see the top end of the range where you'd expect the $3 level on pullbacks to be hopefully supportive. It doesn't support 3 on the way back. That's a key level in the daily. It's your pre-market low. But I think VWAP's even more important for the opening range. If you don't hold VWAP at the open, then I'd wait for $3. Nothing in between for me whenever I see a setup like this.
All right, Palantir just kind of chopping around here right now. It's still to the upside so far this morning. Nice note from Danny Ives over at Wedbush. pounding the table on both the NATO angle and also the U.S. defense angle as well, reiterating his positivity around this. This thing's still up 23% so far this year. Another deal in a market that's getting absolutely killed.
Yeah, I mean, like you'll compare the S&P or the NQ to Palantir. Palantir far outperforming, and for good reason, because belligerency, sadly, have started around the world, and this company has a lot to do with it. So, not to do with the fact that belligerencies are starting, but to obviously, manage the situation. So they did sell their Maven smart system to NATO, which is a good look there. Now we know them for two different systems: their AIP platform, which can be used commercially and militarily, but their Maven system specifically is for the military. So Danny Ives likes this. He calls it a validation of Palantir's growth, and he reaffirmed that same price target, Brendo, $103, which is a nice upside from the $93.70 we were trading at.
Yeah, this is the daily chart. I'll just direct your attention to 97.50 here. I mean, this thing's has been a little bit scared of $100 ever since the beginning of the year, but let's see what happens today.
Well, I mean, that's kind of an obvious, it's a good psychological level, no questions asked, for Palantir. I mean, the 98 is the bigger actual price level on PLTR. Oh yeah, this is, since it got to the NASDAQ, right? So our charts kind of go over starting when it's in the NASDAQ. What I like, positives first, you've held the 50 period, which was rejections underneath the 50 period moving average. The last time we held the 50 period, you went right to $98 and turned. What did we do yesterday? We went pretty much adjacent to 98 and turned. I think this is a breakout through the $98 level on PLTR. Now it does have that similar, what's crazy, like it's got that same setup where prior day low turns into 2-day resistance at the $90 level. That's literally the same setup that BAC has going on for it right now, and it's got the earnings play. So if you're into the support resistance, that 90 is kind of the place to be that I'd be watching out for on PLTR. But 98 is just screaming that if we get a breakout through there, Palantir can really go. It just turned 925, so I just realized I didn't even have the imbalances sorted just now. Yeah, it looks like nothing too big. DMN is a penny stock. BAC is a slight buy. We just went over that. That's $250,000 to the buy side. That's not huge. So with nothing big on the NASDAQ yet, we usually get them a little bit later. Pretty quiet morning on the imbalance located with only BAC, the earnings name.
I still have BAC on my mind. As far as Palantir is concerned, yeah, like it's funny because the market right here is pretty flat. Right, and Palantir is starting to tick a little bit higher right now. And Neil had just mentioned here that we had looked at some of those imbalances. So coming out, Amazon with a nice little sell right here could be something to trade early. Oh, there's Palantir. So I'm not sure if Neil just mentioned it, but a bunch of sevens there. Oh, lucky number 7. We just saw 777 there on Palantir, but a small bid, man, only 70,000. So yeah, not really giving too much juice there for me on Palantir, but it looks like it's going to be stronger than the rest. So if you do think that it's going to be a long day today, that's looking like a great break, man. $94, yesterday's high. Hit that out, boom. I mean, yesterday's afternoon high. I mean, I like Palantir down there. My number one trade on here is BAC long. And the thing is, it didn't fall into those levels. It came through and then just took off as sort of, I guess the ES is... Yeah, well, the ES, I guess they're both kind of flattish right now. But the ES and BAC continues to go back up to the upside right now. So I'm looking at Bank of America, and I was initially looking at the 200 period moving average rate down here of 36. So I wrote down between 36.50, yeah. So 36 to 36.50. Again, we write it down when we're at 37.25 and change, thinking that we could drip a little bit here. So we'll see if bank earnings create any kind of a movement down. I am going to bid BAC at 36.50, although I understand right now that's a ways away. So I'm just going to put the bid right now at 36.50. We'll just start it with 100 shares or something like that and see if we get that fill. We'll let it calm down. The other thing that I wanted to look at too was going to be the NASDAQ in general today. And on here, we had written down 50 short, and we're right there right now. So again, in trying to be patient today, which we also have on our note, we're going to wait to see because this is a nice trend higher here in the pre-market as we continue to sort of drift upside now. So I'm not going to take the short early, but I am going to look at this $50 level here on the TQs and was thinking about shorting it. And I kind of found it just looking, thinking that, all right, if we got back into this level, there's $50. There was the drop off there in midday. Then we broke right through here. Canada provides 6-month.
I didn't hear anything.
There's something happening about Canada providing a 6-month tariff, something. We'll get that story from Adair in a second. But there it is right there, $50 for the TQ. So I'm definitely looking over in and around that area for the NASDAQ to be short. But right now we're up. So there's no way I want to. So that story about Canada right here must be something, I guess, because starting to get upside a little bit right now. So it does sound like Adair. Can we go to Adair quickly, Fabian? Can we go to Adair quickly? Okay, she has this story, and then we can open this market.
So the Finance Ministry of Canada announcing that the country is going to be providing a temporary 6-month relief from counter tariffs for goods imported from the U.S. that are used in manufacturing, processing, and food and beverage packaging. So it seems manufacturing and food and beverage focused right now, also mentioning processing here. So again, Canada going to be providing a temporary 6-month relief from counter tariffs for U.S. goods. Back to you.
Okay, we'll take it. I mean, the market doing a little bit of a bounce and a dance to the side. No, but I don't think it's on that. But the market is. We just went green on the Nasdaq and the ES.
So careful about these shorts, I think.
Yeah, well, patience. I think Boeing can still get there with only about 30 seconds to go. Nothing really popped up there on the Nasdaq imbalances that would cause some of the moves you saw up there. Notable, Meta didn't move, and a muscle, Nvidia, like 70, 80 cents to the upside, and Apple with a bit of a bounce there, maybe like $1 off 201. I like 07s. I like those 7s long yesterday. I like 07s short today. So it's going to be a lot of patience required to fade into Apple. But the bell on this Tuesday brought to you by WorkSport WKSP on the NASDAQ. And let's ring it right about now, Adara.
All right, there it goes. Yeah, thank you, Miss Adair. Thank you, Neil. And here we go again. Wow. So the only short idea I had was Tesla, and we didn't even get to that. Tesla right here, 252 short. Well, it is starting, Fabian, to get to the downside right there. Nice move off of 250
I know what happened.
For Tesla. So there it goes, man. The NASDAQ doing its own thing as well. Wow, Nvidia. I sit back down, and Nvidia's at 112. Nice move for Nvidia here early. Blasting high. Wow, got to 111.50, but go ahead. Yeah. What's Boeing doing?
So first off, I got filled at Boeing 157. I'm like, what? That filled at the open? And it wasn't open yet. I hit bid enter and punched out at 156.
Nice.
Well, the spread's wild.
Short?
I was short, but it's screaming back into the upside. So we liked off 157.5, but I hit bid enter and immediately was giving 156. But BAC is now gone, everybody. So the dip buy plan on BAC, I'll let this calm down because that's a pretty hefty move up. I don't want to just short right back into it. Give a couple, at least have a 3-minute candle open and close on Boeing. I think we got fortunate that.
Are we open on Boeing?
No, it was opening print. So I just got ticked in.
Oh, it is open then.
Is it open?
Is it? Is that what you said? You said opening?
No, I didn't see it open.
Oh, opening.
I haven't seen an opening.
Right. Okay.
So I'm waiting to see.
There we go.
Print.
I just saw an N.
Oh, now I see it.
Yeah. So I think we're open actually on
It's open now. It's open now.
So again, it was an idea that we had on here as well. So we're now short Boeing 157. So I'm going to take out some here. If we could make, there it is. Yes, sir. A nice quick little $1.20. And we've got shares on. So if this can make a move back in, then we'll do that. 154, 155, I think is going to be a good level. 155.26 for Boeing. I'm going to put another bid out. We only got out of 10%. So we maybe didn't get out of enough, but we'll wait to see now what happens with Boeing. It's now open, and it's not going. It's actually trying to go a little lower.
BAC is going hand.
Yeah, the banks right now,
BAC is now up 5%. It just tagged 38.5.
JP Morgan running all the
So,
banks.
we're not going to get the dip buy in the BAC. So usually at this moment, it's like, well, what's the plan if it's a long that you like? Breakout was at about 38. On my chart. This local high here at 38 1/3 might be the only place
Look at Nvidia,
to work into. So if there's a first dip on BAC, we'll try to join it. But Nvidia is flying, which means AMD is probably going to get to that resistance spot from yesterday at 96. That'd be the first fade. Got to make sure that something better isn't. Yeah, look at Intel. Intel Intel's lining up too, and Intel was a better short yesterday. So I'll probably wait for Intel to give me a fill on a reversion up here, as all of the chip names are going absolutely ham to the upside. But it's BAC that's the most frustrating, as that is gone haywire. Love to see it pull back and give some kind of a quick little dip and rip.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Westermeyer. BA, a nice little dollar club winner for both of us so far here today. So we're happy. Sorry, not BAC, with Boeing. Nice little move there. But it is BAC right now. But look at Nvidia. I know it's BAC's world, but Nvidia right now, we are just living in its world. It is up now 1 point. Look.
Sean's chart, please.
Yeah. Look at this chart right now for Nvidia. The king is back in the building. All hail, man. What's going on with Lisa's company over here? AMD's probably also starting to go back. Yeah, so they are also gapping higher. Potential news here. Let's go over with Adair. Oh, by the way, before we do that, we just covered more of Boeing at 155.80. So more covering here of Boeing for $1. Yeah, we're going to go to Adair right now.
Just be aware here, HPE to the upside. I'm seeing some reports here circulate on X. Apparently, Elliott, which is an activist investor, has built an over $1.5 billion stake at the company. So HP Enterprise on watch here. Elliott reportedly building a stake valued at over $1.5 billion in the company. Back to you.
Pretty sweet that you can just build a $1.5 billion position, announce it, and immediately make a couple $100 million.
Making money the easy way.
Pretty sweet right there.
The easy way right
yeah, we can have a look. I do want to look at HPE. I do want to show everybody one thing right here. This is E-signal. HPE is the #2 symbol now on their trade rate. So hood, now it's Nvidia, of course, takes it over. But I just want to say, as that story was developing right there, that trade rate indicator on our guy E-signal, very, very important right there. But yeah, you're going to the upside right now on Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. So I would say that top right there is 1650. I'd be surprised if we got there. It might be fade the news situation, but the market's going up. So to short any of these tech names might not be the right move at all right now. I'm going to assume, Neil, that Palantir with this move is going, yeah. So everything right now is kind of upside. And I don't know if it's a surprise or not. The market's above VWAP. We did want to look at TQQs as a potential short, and it is bouncing around right now. So this could be something. But again, to stay in front of the market at 935, when we seem to be going upside, is a little something. I actually am going to try this short against that top of 50-40 on the TQ. So I'm going to go short right now.
Yeah, speaking of short.
That was quick.
BAC's pulled back into the volume-weighted average price. Intel did a curl that we couldn't grab, and I'm trying to grab AMD in front of 96. I should show Intel first because that's the one that we missed. Didn't get to my level of 2065. Go. But only got to 2045. Boeing, whoops. I knew this was going to happen. Oh, I didn't say the right name. Boeing.
Yeah, you did.
That's hilarious. In my head, I was saying Alibaba. Boeing came back to the 157, made a lower high, but is finding buyers at the $0.50 as well. So I want us to get into VWAP to get that fade. It's the only thing I've actually traded today, but I want one of these chips short. It's a matter of, can I get 96 on AMD? Can I get 2060 on Intel? Right now, the answer to either one of those is no. But let's not forget that the banks are where all of this started, and BAC is trying to hold the volume-weighted average price as we speak. So 37, I like to dip by 37 and 36 quarter. At this point, when you're up 4.5% and so far away from both, you just got to take what the market is giving you, and it might be the VWAP dip buy here on BAC, the stronger of the two
We got
banks.
Tesla. All right, so all of a sudden, yeah, so by the way, all right, so let's just quickly, I got Tesla short 250, so I don't know what's going on. That name was going down. All right, so we did short this against 50.40. I better put my stop in right now. Oops. $50.51. If we break that recent high, we're going to get out of the TQs. But I just want to show you that we are shorted. So let's go right now. Nice trade happening right now. Boeing, we take another piece out. That's a banger. We're 3 for 3s right now. There goes Tesla right now on the short as well. So again, these are just all markers. I don't know if Tesla's going to work or not. These are all markers that we had written down on here. We have BAC long, we have Q short, we have Tesla short, we have Boeing short. So right now, we're just holding it out. It's a little early right now. So we will we'll figure it out what's going on. But I'm going to see about a break there. We had written down 253 as the top, so we're going to give this to like 253.50 right now for Tesla. Willing to lose on these trades. I mean, these are just early ideas. So 253.50, and we're going to get out on Tesla. But right now it's a Boeing short, 50 cents. It's the TQs flat right now, but we took some profits already. Maybe we should get some more out if it does drop into that. And then we're holding on to Tesla right now, which isn't that huge, but we're trying to get this dollar early here on TSLA.
And just watch out. You're getting, with the market this strong, remember you're at some pretty big, I mean, it's overnight resistance. I shouldn't say pretty big resistance. Overnight resistance, which we just wicked. So if we resolve this with like a trend reversal on the NASDAQ, that's a good entry point for some shorts. So I'm trying to be patient. Apple never got to 07. Intel never got to the 2065 that I wanted. AMD did get to 96. So I feel as if we trend back into that high, wait for 96 on AMD is going to be the right play. Good chance that we get it. You're seeing Boeing try to get to that prior low. It's already worked a couple of times, but let's see if it can't flush in through VWAP there. Everybody, I see everyone talking about iBit, Hood, Rocket Lab. We'll get to everything that we can here because this market is wild. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you want to ask questions or put things in the chat, you have to be a subscriber. So hit that subscribe and ask away and fire away because we didn't even really do enough justice to the move in iBit either. iBit's breaking out through the top.
Wow, yeah.
You've taken 86,000. I just want to remind everybody here that you had a pretty big, on iBit, it'll be the $50 level. It was a huge reversal spot in Bitcoin. I'm not saying we're adjacent to it now, but in a bull run, you get up there on iBit and just watch out. That's going to take things like your hoods to the upside along with it. But the market's taking out that top. So I got to be real patient looking for those shorts off the top. Robinhood approaching breakout territory. Plenty of people have already mentioned Palantir. And as we said, these chips. Wow, you know what? Maybe not as strong.
Oh, no.
Maybe not as strong, Nvidia. Nvidia is just maybe getting to that 113 and pulling back a little bit. So I think you're okay on those chip shorts. Well, I'm about to get AMD.
I said I would not fight the trend. So I actually just punched out at 253. I was going to give it to 253.50, and I was just like, nah, it's not. You know, like, I'm surprised that came through. Like, the fact that Tesla went all the way down to 248. So we will take a 60-cent hit there on one unit for Tesla. Like, that was an order that we had just had sitting there. So no moss on that one. And then we were actually pretty good with this trade as well. We got out at 250, at 50.50 on the break. We actually got a great fill. So we'll fail on those two trades, but we're not. We didn't really lose anything right there. So still down. Our average price was 39, so we take an 11-cent hit there on the TQQs. And maybe it's a little bit early to punch out, but I feel pretty confident with what we just did right there on that play. And now we can just relax and look at something else. Instead of waiting for Tesla to do something, now we can just say, you know what, the market is strong right now here today. Let's just avoid potentially the short. So we are now out of the TQs. Now I'm looking long. You know, these bottoms held at the 50-period moving average. If we can come back into these areas, the market is really proving itself here today that we want to go upside. I know you're looking at AMD. This is one of the reasons why we went short was the fact that Nvidia pulled back, right? But I guess that's just not what we're doing right here. Today is not going to be. It looks like a short early, so nice move there. All right, I don't know, man. BAC, I guess we can look at BAC.
BAC
is it still gone?
It doesn't want to, every time it bounces off VWAP, it doesn't want to give the bids. If you catch it on the way down, as we always say, it's easy to get the fill on the way down, but after the bounce, like there's your bounce on VWAP, there's your closing above the volume weighted average price. So it's like everybody wanted the long entry. The second it confirmed it was holding VWAP, I'm going to nibble in here in the 30s, but I really wanted this at an average price of 20, which means take some at 30 and ideally take some in the 10s or the teens, and we'll see if we can't get any more on the bid. Boeing is still, like, it's still trending up here. You might take out that high. I was just in again at 157.25-ish. I like the number 22. I've said it a million times. But it broke 157, immediately rebid it back up, so I covered some in the 80s. This is still trending up. I think it's going to take out this high. There's size at 157.50. If they break this order here, then I think I just punch out. If it holds, great. We'll play back into VWAP. So BAC, we're finally long for the first time. We'll see if that one wants to continue. And just a couple of Mag 7 names for you. So there you go. You just broke that high in Boeing. I don't want to fight this too far. Like every time I'm getting out at a higher price for profit, which tells you it's still in the uptrend. Let it reverse the trend, and then we can go back into the short on Boeing. It's the only thing that was holding out for a lot of that bull run. So the bank earnings all came through. I haven't been paying attention to Citigroup, but BAC up 4.5 points here, kind of clearing things out. Like to see it get back to 38.5. We'll take some out if it gets there. We'll buy more into the volume-weighted average price. Tony, that is correct. I like 22 because of Will the Thrill Clark. I've told that many times. One of my favorite players growing up.
Yeah, the market is just, okay, let's go to Adair. We're short more Boeing, but the market is going.
Here's ARBB. If you're looking for a small cap name, this one very much removed from pre-market highs, but a good look here for ARB IoT. Apparently one of their subsidiaries has entered a contract for roughly $53 million for an AI data center server solution. So AI-related contract for ARBB subsidiary, sending this one to the upside this morning, guys. Back to you.
So
Weebulls halted to the downside. So I wish it wasn't true because I know people want this to go up. It's always more fun if a stock squeezes to the upside. By the way, I'm no longer in Boeing, so like it'll have to reload. I'm only in BAC.
Does Fabian know that?
Halted down 45.22, and the tap is currently flat, but it's now failed that 55 level. So 55, which is the afternoon support, it tried to bounce, it faded it. So I'm looking shorts under VWAP and shorts under 55. I did pay for the locates over on Webull. But yeah, that's me getting out of Boeing. It just tagged 158.5. My line in the sand was 157.50. So it has to show me like a wick out, and then I can get back in, which would be a bit of a trend reversal potentially as well. So let's see if it's going to be a wick out, and I can jump right back in underneath. But I threw my stop right underneath that prior high top.
All right. It looks like so. My position is accurate right now. We are short Boeing. So I had written down initially 158. So when it comes to 158. Yes, yeah, I have to be short. So I'm going to be short right now, Boeing. And we just, bless you. It's going to be my only positive stock because we lost almost nothing on Tesla, which was really good, actually. The TQs is where we've lost our day so far because we went short up here and we just got blown out. So we'll have to wait to see if that continues to work out. But for me, just another fill there at 157. Our average price is 157.55. So we just take out at 10 there for 40 cents. These were better trades, but again, we basically emptied out, which is why we're able to have this good average price right there. A pushback into VWAP would be nice. I'm going to bid 156.50 just in case we do get a little bit of a flush down there. Look, you never know where the fill's going to come, so we'll take it if it does come a little bit lower. I don't know, man. Like the market is not necessarily done going up, but I just wonder about this TQs. I'm starting to get a little bit of FOMO. Think I need to be back in there, but we'll hold off on that. A big whoopsies. What is this? Apple 34. Oh, BZ.
There's actually U.S. listed big cap tech in the Brazilian market.
Okay, so that must be what that is.
Yeah, I
was just
I accidentally ran into one of those the other day.
Yeah, I just did it myself right there. That's
not that I would ever trade it.
Kind of fun. Yeah, so I just want to look at Apple here quickly because this was a name yesterday that obviously we were really, really excited for the long, and then it fell on our face. So maybe today, see, there it was right there. And then yesterday afternoon, right there into the close, it really bled in a little bit. So Apple in and around here, this 203, if the market really is, damn you, TQQs, are you going to be a short or what? All right, Adair, you got some news?
Keep an eye on the market here. We have comments coming through from Michael Falkender. He is the deputy Treasury Secretary. It's not the Treasury Secretary Bassett, but Deputy Treasury Secretary Falkender saying that he believes tariff negotiations will work out. Quote, I predict tariff negotiations will work out. So some positive outlook here on tariff negotiations from Deputy Treasury Secretary Falkender to start this morning. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. I did just get a bit of a trend reverse on Intel, which we like. I mean, AMD is super strong. I was looking over at AMD relative to Intel. And Intel doesn't get to the afternoon high from yesterday, stops underneath it, market breaks out high, it doesn't break out the high. So we're in it to VWAP, and just juxtapose that. I know I said I liked AMD up there, but look at the relative strength.
Goes Boeing.
AMD relative to Intel. So if I'm choosing between two names and I'm going short, I want to short the one that isn't ripping your face off to the upside. So that's why we chose Intel. But there goes Boeing again. Early good, now breaking out. So I sit this out until 160 at this point on Boeing. BAC starting to go as well, but have to get you just very quickly, if I can, over to Webull. As that's open back up, it's oddly stable at this price, so it's holding 45. If it does pop, lose VWAP, pop, lose 55, that's the level that I'm looking at for Webull. We had to pay for locates here at Real Trading. It was 1 1/3 cents per share, which is very, very cheap, I'd say, for a name that had a 400% up move. So if we get a pop into the volume weighted average price, I'd look for a curl on Webull, which is down 26% today.
All right, so just being a little stubborn. Okay, well, now it might go against me here. Wow. Oh, man, Boeing just came back a little bit there. We got stopped out of Boeing, but it might, I don't know, does it still want to go or not? All right, so there was Boeing right there, stopped out at 158.50. That might have been the high. There's no real volume to show me that that was the high or not, but you know, maybe we'll just relax on that, try to kind of a play right now. Thought it would be a much greater story to the negative side than that. All right, well, I just tried the TQs one more time against that high. It looks like it broke out again. We're not using really that many shares right now just because I'm trying to be a little stubborn and trying to catch this short. And if I do catch it, I want to hold it all the way back so we can, not just so we can make this money back, but if there is going to be a move down, then yeah, we want to be part of it. But I don't think there is going to be a move down right now as things are starting just to take off to the upside. Oh man, that Boeing, we're going to be basically flat on Boeing. We will be red, so it'll be a red stock for us. But now it's starting to fade out just a little bit here, BA. So that sucks, man. We got stopped out about $1 ago at this point, but there it is, man. That 158. Let's try it one more time at 158.
Break trend,
if it does come back up there, then we'll look at that one. But right now, Boeing, that's too bad. It was a winning trade there, but yeah, we got stopped out at the highs, it looks like, and we talk about that all the time, as that will happen quite frequently to traders, especially when you're playing support and resistance. Well, here goes Palantir, 96.50. Wow. We said that this name really had a chance to go. It's all the way up now, and if you're going to play a breakout on anything, it looks like Palantir might be the one for you. Right now, breaking through this 96.50 right there. A nice upside move for PLTR. It is continuously going higher right now, Palantir. This is why we get out, but look what just happened to Tesla again. Like, why is the market really blasting right now? We were red just before the market opened, and then we started going with 10 minutes to go, and now there it is, man, a nice high wick right into yesterday's high of 256 for Tesla. So now that maybe is pulling back just a little bit here, so we can watch out for Tesla, but I don't know, man. If anybody has any ideas, I know Bull, we were looking at Webull.
It's now halted upside, so just very quickly, we're trying to get some VWAP on BAC, which it's not coming back down in. There was one touch at the open. It's now allergic to the volume weighted average price. It just tagged 38. It was 45 in there in front of the 50 level. So I'm trying to dip by this. But Webull, it halts up, it halts down, it halts up. I got that in the reverse order. So it goes into volume weighted average price, doesn't fail it, but it's in the halt. It's still underneath that 55 level. So even if it opens up green, it would still be in the space that I'd looked for the fail off of that 55. It's just the afternoon support. This is what Newsmax did on its reversal day, is the afternoon support level. It couldn't hold, and then it just trended down. So a bounce into that needs to break above this top. Otherwise, I'm still looking for the fade trade over in Webull. Intel just pulled back into VWAPs, took my first out in front of VWAP, then 20 1/4. As the market's doing this,
yeah,
and Intel is still kind of holding the flag at the bottom end of the flag. So relative weakness. Feel like I want to see relative weakness if I'm at least trying to short something in here. You already mentioned Palantir is an absolute rocket ship. A lot of things are strong. Apple, there was this not crazy, but there was this hefty dip at the open and then immediate reversal. They dipped it into 201, and worth watching. There was an iceberg in the offer 201, dipped right in front of that. And then there's your buy zone. Sometimes these pre-market icebergs right before the open give you an indication of a good level. I really wasn't paying enough close attention to Apple because we're looking at BAC and Boeing and Intel AMD. But unfortunately, that was a missed opportunity to notice that there was a big order at 21. And when it broke, what a long it was.
I'm trying to sit on my hands a little bit here. The market really is blasting. I mean, the Nasdaq's going to be up 1% right here, right now, right here. So Apple, okay, so there goes Apple, trying to break higher as well. So maybe this is the one that we look to trade now. Up to 203 and change, looking to break back through that level right now. All right, I don't know. I mean, the market is trying to come back a little bit. I see, I kind of want to short, but at the same time, like, I'm not really seeing that. Like Apple, some of these wicks up to 203.32, giving me some kind of pause here to think about the short. I can't really hit the keys yet for it. I don't know. Let's have a quick look at this, because I don't really want to fight the market, but this is at a decent short area right here, 203.40s. Not bad for an area short for Apple. And again, though, I'm like, I kind of want to look to short this, but it's already through, and I've tried a bunch of times and got stopped out. So yeah, I don't know. Like yesterday's highs are right into here. So we're getting close to where we were yesterday, and it looks like these chips, it's not even pulling back really at all. So the NASDAQ still holding out higher, and then there goes Apple up to that 230 area there, 203.30 area. So I'm glad we didn't short that at 203. But yeah, see this? Like it was just there. It's moving up and down 20, 30 cents here in a couple of seconds. So do it. Yeah, what's up, Ozan? What do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. Right now, we did short Tesla, but got out of the way. Actually, this was a really good out. I'm actually really happy to get out of that one. The only thing I'm not happy with is this Boeing trade, because we were short there at 157.75. It would be 30, 50 cents or so in the money right now. We'll look to short that again if it does come back in. But there goes Apple, man, breaking again.
It's liftoff for some of these. I got to hit this.
We gotta go
for everyone that's yelling about AMD, like it is absolutely pumping. Just took 96 quarter. It's right into after that afternoon resistance spot. I'm glad I got away from this. When the market's at the high and the stock is at the high, that can be a good place to short, but the better place to short is the stock that isn't doing that same thing. But I got to respect the fact, yeah, right there, we just bounced off the volume weighted average price. So this is still an upward trend in Intel. As long as we're respecting the high, I'll wait for it to get to the top to get out. We're still looking for the dip in BAC. Promise at some point I'm going to pull up Citigroup, but BAC starting to come back in here a little bit. Want to add to this at 38, just underneath 38.20. VWAP's adjacent to the teens, like the low teens on BAC is where you're going to find the volume weighted average price. Up 4.75%. Citigroup also breaking out, just not quite as strong as BAC, up 3 1/3. So the banks having a good one today, but the real story is some of these chips going absolutely ham. SMCI just broke its high of the day, up 3%. Just remember how heavily some of these names fell, that you're not even close to where we were at the open yesterday. There's still a bit of a gap that can get filled in here. So there's a lot of room for these to still go if they want to continue. But yeah, crazy move.
Yeah, that Boeing's
the Bitcoin did stall out a bit though. That's disappointing.
Yeah, 85.7. Okay. We'll watch out for it.
It's right. IBIT's under VWAP right now. Market's at the high of the day, and IBIT is underneath VWAP. That's not what we want to see. It's not what we want to see. You want to see that positive correlation with the market. It makes it easier to trade it. I don't like when it's doing this counter stuff.
No.
We'll see if it resumes going up when the market goes up.
So we have a small trade right here to start with. I mean, we almost got longer. I was waiting at 203 flat to get a little longer. So if Apple does come through, I just put a bid at 20s because that's kind of where we went all the way down to 08 there. Believe it or not, I'm at 05, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like it's going to come in anyways. So I'm going to bid right here some 20s just to take. So now we have 1 unit of Apple right now. And I'm just trying to go against this sort of high right here, which is 90s. So if we do pull back, I mean, buying dips has been fine in this market, but let's see if that is true of right now. There it is. So we'll try to take Apple again. We saw Apple take that huge hit yesterday. I was just thinking maybe now we get back into that name and we start to go. It was one of the names that hasn't performed this, well with the market. So if it does have a pickup here, I think we can probably go. It's 203.13 is where we're long. So if we can get something back up here into the 20s, then it would be at least a 1-to-1 situation. But again, we're not, because this market is just kind of like, I'm not really feeling any direction right now. Let's just try Apple, see if the long will work down here at 203, and then we'll just work it off from there. So here, okay, here it goes. What was I just sitting at? 25s. It got to 23s there. All right, what a surprise. There it goes. Okay, a nice move through. So we're making some money back here, Neil, on Apple. So that's a good move that it's coming back upside. So let's wait. I'm going to take some more out. We just got into 25 again. Let's take a little bit more out here in the low 20s. I just put a 23 watt up to Jordan, and we'll see if we can get out now just a little bit more. I'm just kind of in the scalp mode right now, as you can clearly see. So we'll take out a little bit of that trade. We took out actually 20% up there at 25. We actually got a 23 and a 25. So let's now wait to see if we can give me one more piece at 23. No, we just missed it. This is what this market is right now. So be careful with it. It is maybe pulling back a little bit. 19,100 seems to have been the top right there. If this drops below 202.90, then we're out. We've already sort of talked about that. So good out there, but it looks like it wants to drip back maybe a little bit. So Apple could be another, oh, there it goes. Ooh, could be another L right here for Apple. But again, they're just, there it goes. They're just like small cuts, but they're flushing down. So I don't know, man. Maybe we should just hold off as we've been saying now, for now.
Well, I took my shot in Webull after the reopen. So just to quickly show you guys, well, I mean, I said what the plan was going to be. If it does a topping tail candle into 55, I'm going to take the break down and give it to, I gave it to the local, like even dollar level at 53. So taking this break, I'm looking for a halt down in that play. I will be candid about it. I wanted to do that. So I want to risk 2 to try to make 10. Well, 5 to 10 in a situation like this. If it does resolve underneath the volume-weighted average price, that's a different type of short. But this was a punch short that it breaks that low and then absolutely flushes. We'll let it calm down a little bit before we take another shot at it. The traditional short, the market just did a little bit of a, here, I'll quickly show you. Did a little bit of a dance just now, kind of going right into this late afternoon, or I guess midday top. A little bit of a topping tail candle forming on it. In that same moment, BAC just came in for the long. Intel retook VWAP. So a little bit of a pullback. The weak name starting to come back in here. Potential dip buys for anything that had been strong. But that's a hefty, like this is, yeah, we'll go to Adara for happening now, but that's a hefty pullback in there. I just got filled at VWAP on BAC. I wanted it holding 38. I don't wonder if something got said with Citigroup. I'm just going to double check to see what Citigroup did here. Citigroup not pulling back as much, so it looks like it's just BAC pulling back heavily into the volume weighted average price. Let's go to Adara for happening now.
Furthermore, Citigroup, as far as I am seeing, they're not set to have their conference call until 11 a.m. So you might be good there as of right now for comments coming from C. As for this market, here's this 15-minute candle we're just almost about to finish forming here on the S&P 500. Very much top and tail looking for the market. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Pretty similar look for the NASDAQ, though it is worth noting there are some names near day as high as Netflix, still really strong. Apple looking pretty good here as well. We had this note coming in right before the open from the Finance Minister of Canada announcing that Canada will be giving some new support for Canadian businesses impacted by U.S. tariffs via a 6-month temporary relief from these or for goods that are imported from the U.S. used in Canadian manufacturing, processing, and food and beverage packaging. So partial temporary tariff relief, retaliatory tariff relief coming through from Canada. Here's Boeing on watch. This one made a nice push here pre-market and into the open, but basically Bloomberg reporting that China has ordered that Chinese airlines halt their Boeing jet deliveries and they stop ordering these airline parts from the U.S. Earnings here on watch: Johnson & Johnson, near day's lows. Citigroup was just mentioned, and Bank of America here. BAC reporting higher than expected earnings and sales. And then we have AMD, another strong one today, or relatively strong anyhow. Much like Nvidia yesterday announcing they're going to be moving some of their AI production into the U.S. AMD saying they're going to do the same thing. Much like Nvidia, they're also looking to work with TSM. Back to you.
Well, you got to work with TSM.
Get down.
They make all the chips.
Good partner.
Well, I mean, it's true. Like they make like 80% of.
Let's go.
I forget the exact percentage.
Elbows up.
The AI chips, it's over 80%. And that's the fabrication. Intel just can't figure it out, and they will at some point. It just might take too long. Look, BAC just bounced right off 38 and got to 38.3, and then right back into these lows. This might be we either hold VWAP, wait for our original 37, or wait for 11 o'clock. For some reason, I've had in my head, and Adara did tell me 11 o'clock, and that is correct for Citigroup. But in my head, I'm like, oh, is that call coming up now for Citi, and it's not till 11. So that's the thing I have to wait for. If we're not going to hold right in here, you lose VWAP, I get out, I wait for 37, I wait for 11 o'clock when that Citigroup call comes in. One of those two things, whichever happens first. I just got tagged at the quarter on Intel. We haven't really revisited the actual high. You can see a little bit better here. All these topping tail candles over in Intel just tells me that if the market's going to hold higher and you get these topping tails, this is still looking weak. The sellers are in control right now on the stock, so I want to short the pops in Intel if we're able to get something above VWAP. That's closer to 20, like the mid 40s, I'd say, is the best place to get short. If we start holding underneath VWAP, I think it looks absolutely fine in there. But this one's, it's been a short the whole way over in Intel, so I feel pretty solid about this continuing. The market's strong and you're trending down. If the market turns, nothing good can happen to Intel.
All right. Yeah, something good just happened to us finally. So we'll go bang. There we go. We just flipped it up, man. We flipped up our Apple short into the short again. We had written down here on, like, we sometimes when we've lost our way a little bit, it is good just to like review and think about, okay, what were we thinking before the market opened? Because it's 10:10 right now, or sorry, it's just after 10, and the market really isn't giving me crazy amounts of feels here one way or the other, and I was putting that in the chat the whole time. So once Apple gave me that profile that maybe this is the area to go short, and then we were looking short before, I just went short again. So I just actually went short 203. So actually it's at 202.87 right here. So we got one of our fills is 85s and one of our fills is 98s or so. So we'll have to wait to see if this one wants to come back in right now. But yeah, good shorts there on Intel, and I know you're battling with that BAC right now, but good trading over there. And I'm just stuck on this one name right here, Apple, but I'm still looking everywhere. Like Tesla's trying to break through again. And this is what I mean. This short was fine for me. This is what we wrote down, 252 to 253, out at 253. Could not be happier with our executions there. And then on the TQQs, we just tried the short up here. I mean, it was the levels that we liked, and I mean, we were trying to get back into there. Again, we had sort of talked about these highs right there, and I wanted to go short against 80, and we just got stopped out. Our early look was 50-50, then we tried it, we got stopped out, we tried again, stopped out. So 0 for 2, 0 for 3-ish. Well, I guess our first trade was right there, but that was just a one piece. Shout out to One Piece over there, Monkey D. Luffy.
Still haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's an anime. It's an anime, but the live action one is pretty fun. That's what sort of got us started with it. Okay, so just my kid, he's into all that stuff. All right, so there we go. Here we go, Apple. Let's go. All right, Tim cooking right now for Apple. There we go. We got 11s. All right, Neil, it's 80 cents now in the money as this trade's starting to work out for us. So again, we just go back to what was working for us, our thoughts. And we initially had thought Apple short. We tried to talk ourselves into it. We are now positive. So that's how you turn your frown upside down. We now go positive on Apple as we fall back in. And again, I still have 50% of this position on. So it came right back into VWAP. I think I'm gonna, now that I say that out loud, that we're into VWAP, generally speaking, that would be a great area to get some more out. So the fact that I still have 50% is probably not great. I'm gonna get out a little bit more. I'm bidding 24s and I'm bidding teens. So if we can just drop down, there it goes, we get the 24s. Now I'm bidding 13. Lucky or unlucky, I just hit bid enter and that's what came out when it was down there. So here we go, we're not gonna change it. We're down there, don't tell me it's gonna stop at 14 or 15. And that looks like that's what it did, but that's okay. We'll wait for 202.30. No. See, when I see that, I'm just going to put another little bid here at 25s.
It's jumping off.
Yeah, it's jumping off that bid that I had, but it's not.
Well, that's also the moving average.
Yeah, that bid was nothing significant. So yeah, and that's the thing, right? So that's the problem is, you know, when it comes into your levels, you need to be able to cover. So we did get another piece out there at 23, but not our final one there at 13. So far so good on all of that.
As much as that's pulling back,
it's not even.
The
really.
opposite is happening in Netflix. Netflix is it's 5 points to the upside here. Look, BAC's holding that 38 for now, and Intel's not giving us the price I want. And I'm going to get to AMD in a quick little second. But rocket ship on Netflix, I think we already showed you guys, it breaks that 60 level, the $960 level. That's the 50 period. And there's nothing really standing in its way till it gets to 1,000 in here, that's that March top. I mean, 1,000 is going to be one heck of a level. My guess is everyone and their mother is going to be looking for a short at that price. So if you're looking to short that, I'd want it to false break that price, like trap some people taking 1,000 break long, maybe get some people out that are short in front of it, and then take a shot at it. Because sometimes you just need to get people out, and I have a segue for this, for it to start working. Whoops, I didn't mean to go to hood. I wanted to go to bull. You need to get people out for it to start working. That's what happened. I took the punch trade short on Webull, threw my stop at 53. I didn't want to get it breaking 55 and throw a stop up there, and then you're getting out 57. But then it starts to work, gives you the VWAP trade. A lot of times, that's how a short ends up working the best, is when it traps people into the long. So now AMD said 96, and this is the thing about being patient. A lot of times we'll see up moves. Do we have one? Yeah, if you see an up move early, you have to wait it out, wait it out, wait it out. You can like the short all you want. Let it get into the resistance level and then curl. But that's what's happening in all of the chip names and all this strength that you're seeing in the market. So until we break this trend, I'm not jumping back into, well, I haven't been in this short. I'm not jumping into this short unless you break the trend line. Now that's so far out and above any big levels. At least Intel's still going to work for me. Random in the chat, shout out to you. Palantir, it still can't get to 98. 98's the big one on PLTR. I know that yesterday's high was at 97.2, but zoom it out a little further, you're getting a consolidation under that. I think it could gear up for another move before it tests 98. So this is still looking decent. I usually like a VWAP retrace on Palantir in an uptrend. So that's what I'd personally be waiting for on PLTR. Almost said Boeing, but I mean BAC. I'm still not getting the closes above, like multiple closes above the volume weighted average price that I want to see. We bought it once in here. I'm still stopping if it loses 38. There's no second close holding that volume weighted average price. So it's good on the way up. The dip off VWAP, we scalp some out, but you're just not seeing the strength that I want to on Boeing, so on BAC. So if we lose 38, I'm out, waiting for us to retest either pre-market lows or retake that volume weighted average price. This market just seems to want to go. The NASDAQ's about to take out that high one more time as it's relief rally central. And it feels like some of these chip names are doing yeoman's work up here. But we haven't broken the high yet.
Yeah, we actually, just as you were mentioning Boeing and talking about BAC a little bit there, we actually got into Boeing.
Well, it was an accident.
Yeah, I know. That's why it was funny. We took some out. So there it goes, man. We got that 158. That's the level that we had written down here on said note. So it came in. We took 50 cents there again. So we only took out right there 20% for that 50 cents. We're going to see if we can do, obviously, some more damage here to the downside, bidding in this area right now, 157.20s. So if it does fly back in. These things, like, you guys are going to think that, like, I'm sitting here and thinking, like, Boeing and flying. It's just something that, like, that's...
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I do it, but, like, right there, that had nothing... That's why I'm talking about it. Like, it had nothing to do with that. But anyway, it's just funny. Like, I don't normally say that, and then we're just talking about Boeing, and that's what I say. So just... wild stuff. Okay, here comes Apple right back in. So I like nice move back there. We did take a bid at 50. I'm going to take now. I'm not going to make this mistake again. As the 50 period moving average is now sloping up. Well, it has been all morning. So obviously that price is changing. So now we have to start to absorb it. We are able to get it all right there. We're taking not all, but we are able to get the fills that we needed right there. And now we'll take another one. It just bounced off VWAP again, which is 30, so I'm just going to put another small bid there. I'm just getting out of 2% every time. It's not, this is just, I need to do better at this. I know I should probably get out, like if I get out of 10% there, then I wouldn't have to worry about all these fills. But, I do have a few fills. As you guys know, that's how I like to trade. And then Boeing, we're waiting for lower. So, all right, Tesla, congratulations. Ross in Thailand says he's got a dollar club. So we'll hit that for you, Ross. Let's go back over there. What's up in Thailand as well? Shout out to White Lotus Season 3 there in Thailand. Joe, you haven't seen the final episode yet. Oh, you've seen? Okay, I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Don't spoil it.
I don't want to tell everybody who passes away. No, I didn't start Black Mirror.
What the heck is a Black Mirror?
I don't have time. Black Mirror.
Oh, Mirror. I'm like, Black Mirror.
I ain't got time, Mike. I ain't got time for that. No, but I do want to watch that. That'd be pretty good. I've only seen a couple episodes, and I know it's a lot of seasons. Yeah,
There's-
Joe.
well,
Joe is claiming it's the best.
Some
show.
episodes are much better than others.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the
like
thing, right? You
anything
got to
else.
like the topics.
Yeah,
I
like
guess,
it's not.
right? All right,
Everyone
so
has their own
we
favorite.
just bounced off 13 again. I'm just going to cancel my 13 and get a 22, Phil. There it is. And now I'm going to go to now I'm going to go a little lower than that. Take out another 2% if we get lower on Apple. So the Apple trade right now is working to the downside. So we're propsing up ourselves sort of right there because we were able to flip it over. But the market is trying to go higher. So that's kind of the wild thing right now. Look, yeah, chips with dip. Look at the NASDAQ taking off. So I think we have a big winner in Apple. It just, the market needs to participate. So I'm happy with this. I want to hold. My next bid is 202 and change. But I am going to get out. Like if we take that high on Apple, then we're gone. 203.50. Even though I wrote down 204, I'm not going to hold this thing back up $1.50 against me. If it wants to run, it can run. If it wants to go down, I'm already short. So that's sort of my logic there. With Apple, let's see if it can pay out. But for right now, go to Adara. I sort of heard that but didn't. Go to Adara.
Keep an eye on these auto names, particular names like GM and Ford. We have comments coming here from Mark Carney, the current Prime Minister of Canada. He is saying that, quote, major auto firm CEOs are telling me that they want to maintain their activities in Canada. We know that Donald Trump has repeatedly said that one way to get out of these tariffs or avoid these tariffs is to move your manufacturing to the U.S. But Mark Carney, speaking on behalf here of these auto firms, saying their CEOs are apparently telling him they want to keep building and having these production and manufacturing activities in Canada. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Some actual action in DraftKings here. But before I get to that,
why would they want to keep manufacturing in Canada? It's so expensive.
Clean
right?
trend,
That's great.
the clean up trend in Boeing. We were shorted early, especially off the open, which was okay, but then it trended up. You've got this nice initial pullback that holds the trend line. You probably know the drill. Close underneath the trend line, go short. But I just saw DKNG, saying it out loud so that I don't type the wrong symbol, just popped up on news. I'm like, it's not even moving though. Never mind.
DraftKings?
No, I swear I heard him just saying DKNG in my ear, so I went over. I want to make sure we're not missing.
There is. There's
This
an
market's
options alert.
ripping. It's if you're not at the highs right now or trending toward the highs, then you're not. Then that's not a stock.
You're not doing something right.
that you should be paying attention to for the long side. Because the market's breaking higher. That's why I like this pullback happening in Boeing, because we liked it short originally. It's at the level we liked, and it's about to close. Actually, I already broke it. And it's closing underneath that trend line. So let's see if I can't get short in front of 157.
Here we go, baby.
Like we did before. We also reloaded Intel, same price as before.
Bang. Yeah, good trade, Neil, on that reload. There it is. Let's go Apple. We said this would be the barn burner there if it did break. And there it goes. Apple right now breaking a little lower. I do have a bid at 85 right now. Good thing we did cancel some of our change there. But we'll see if we can get back in. Now, there it is. Give me that $1 winner. We'll see if we can have that when we get back right now. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let's just drop that. Oops, no Powell. All right. You know what's good? Powell can call. We can go to Adara.
I looked into this. Benzinga a couple of minutes ago had not one but two options alerts here for DKNG. That might be an alert you're hearing as far as the news and not seeing anything for DraftKings. I just wanted to clear that up. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Thanks, Adara. And sometimes that's going to matter when you have unusual options activity, so you do want to make sure. I just thought maybe there was a real story is the wrong way to frame it, but you know what I mean. I thought there was like a breaking news story. So we did just grab Boeing on that trend break. Want to go back over and just adjust. The one that's been working off these levels the whole way was Intel. So it did a bit of a topping tail at 40. I just jumped right back in at 39 for a reload. 39.5 we actually got. And then you get like another topping tail. It should have been another ad there at 40 when I saw that. But going to respect the buyers that keep showing up in this, like that quarter range here on Intel. So it just popped VWAP. Just going to get some out there at 29. So we're going to, every single pop, we're just going to fade on Intel until something changes with this stock. I look over at AMD and the other chips, like look at AMD, just trend up, trend up, trend up. So the way I see it, if you come in with a bearish attitude, then something better be setting up to the short side. Trend break, trend down, not this trend up nonsense, which is clean and unabated to the quarterback. Like right now, the offer is like the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, just letting everything through on AMD. They're not letting it through on Nvidia right now. So Nvidia, little bit of a different story. Same top here, 112.25, just holding the line on Nvidia. It did get up to this, not quite to that 113. So there's at least a little bit of a chink in the armor here of some of the chips, specifically the difference between Nvidia and AMD. Doesn't make me want to punch short in Nvidia because I think Intel is also giving you the same pattern, but just noting that. And I will take a mean reversion trade on AMD. That's just a setup that's been working the last couple of weeks, especially when you go parabolic up the entirety of the morning. Tesla, this is also doing that same channel up type pattern. So if you're doing it, for me, if I'm doing a reversion, you got to pick something. You can't try to do them all. So AMD was part of the plan, Boeing was part of the plan, Intel's part of the plan. Tesla short was never part of the plan. So I have no issues sitting this one out. And congrats if you're long Tesla. Just zoom it out and note that this is not even moving relative to its prior range the last couple of weeks. Like your last 3 days, this is still an inside day for Tesla. So it's crazy to say this, but if you break out 260, it's like you've got a whole bunch of room for this to rally. We just saw some, we're getting a little bit of volume coming in here because I just saw the NASDAQ go down 40 pennies or so, and I was like, I should be adding to Boeing and forgetting about the 158 and see if we can't get the 157.5. But I just saw a big volume spike to the downside on the NASDAQ, everybody. Let's go to Adara.
There might be some volatility here because we're hearing from China's Customs Administration. They're saying that they are holding meetings with trade businesses and industry associations. Really unclear comment. But again, we do have this on watch. Also, we have the EU reportedly expecting U.S. tariffs to remain as their talks are making little progress. So China trying to have some talks here, again, unclear with whom those talks are. And then we have the EU saying they think these tariffs are going to remain because they're not seeing a lot of progress with the talks. So a couple different things on tariffs here on watch. And back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adara. Like just the second you said that, got VWAP out in Boeing on that retracement. So that whatever that headline was, it just tagged 156.5. So ultimately, when you saw that volume spike, you knew things were heading back in. It finally broke trend on AMD, so I just jumped into that short, literally as Adara was reading that out for you guys. So market now heading back in the VWAP. Now we're heading to the downside precipitously here. So the short's starting to pay off.
Oh, man, the face slapper is back right now. What did I say about this trade with Apple? This is exactly what we said. If the market turns around, Apple is going to fall on its face. And right there, this is an absolutely monster trade. It is now $2 now in the money as we just do us. That's what we do. This is the trade that we wanted. There it goes. Boom goes the dynamite. Now it's $2. This is a plane crash. I did it again. What's up, Boeing? Look what's happening to Boeing. There's our 158 short. Like right now, we are over $4 in the money right now in these two combined positions. So, and I actually have some shares on board. I was actually getting my car winter tires taken off today. So the dealership was phoning me and crazy story. Like I have to get my car safetied because it's off lease. No, it's just I'm buying it out. So
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it's off lease, so I got to get it safetied. And the dealership phones me and says I have a check engine light on. I'm like, I dropped the car off to you with no check engine light on.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden I have a check engine light on. You know, so that was getting my blood going a little bit there, which might have affected some of those early trades. Now they didn't, but anyways, phone me back. Oh, it was just an air bubble in the coolant system. All is good. No check engine light. Our bad.
Come on, son.
That's what happens when you threaten them. Like, no business for you, then I said, right? And they were like, okay. But there it is right now. Look at this, Neil. $3. Ramin, Joe, you seeing what's happening on Apple right here? Look at this move right there to the downside. There it goes, man. Checks notes, short Apple, 204. Checks notes, short Apple, 203. This is going to be a good trade for here. I don't know. Again, I just sat back down. I had to deal with those fine technicians at Volkswagen. And then there it goes. Nice move to the downside here for AAPL as we come back in. Let's just start to cover. Like, did I miss a Chinese story or something?
Yeah, Adara, right when you were sitting down, Adara had the story. I think you're going to get an update on it.
Okay.
Because I believe I heard we're going to... Oh, it's a small cap recap, but I think maybe we can recap the story as well.
That's why. My earpiece not even working.
We'll go to Adara, we'll recap the story, and get the small cap recap. Yeah, there was...
We did have a headline coming in on China, but which was basically China's Customs Administration saying they're holding meetings with trade businesses and industry associations. But the headline that really seemed market moving was the one that came basically seconds after the fact, also about trade and tariffs, but this one coming from the EU. Bloomberg reporting that apparently the European Union is expecting they're going to see these U.S. tariffs remain because they did not make much progress in their talks. Apparently, they've not been able to bridge their trade differences as of yet. The U.S. officials have indicated that most of these U.S. tariffs on the EU are not going to be removed. So it sounds like U.S. really holding on to these tariffs on the EU. Apparently, the EU has even offered to remove all tariffs on industrial goods, but the U.S. said no to that proposal. So U.S. being a little bit sticky here with regards to the EU, leading to some issues here with tariff negotiations, as reported by Bloomberg. Small caps. So here's RZLV. This is Resolve AI. This team's rallied in the past, announcing a contract here valued at, I believe, $9.8 million annually with Liverpool, Mexico. Then we have MURA. This morning, Mural Oncology announcing they're planning to explore strategic alternatives, including the discontinuation of clinical development of this Nemvaleukin. And last but not least, RPTX, Repair Therapeutics. This is a Canadian name. I couldn't find a specific catalyst on it, but it is worth noting. As a Canadian name, we know that Canada announced a 6-month temporary relief here for these tariff measures for reciprocal tariffs. So RPTX could potentially be benefiting. Either way, just above $1 right now, guys. Back to you.
Ooh, just above $1. That's always a key level, obviously, because you will try to stay listed. Just quickly, AMD went right into the morning support, whatever you want to call it, 95 right here, first pullback, so the reversion. I let it fall. When you get a news story, usually that's a reversion to VWAP, but the news came out and there was basically no bid. So I waited for a bid to come in front of support and then just punched out. So we got that move pretty clean. I think we're going to get a relief. We're getting a relief rally in here, and I want to be adding to Intel if I can, but I have to respect. All right, let me just show you the $20 level on Intel. 20, 20, 20. Intel loses 20, there's a pretty big gap underneath it. So I'm trying to hold. Usually I'd get out in front of 20, but I want to find a place to add to Intel on a bounce going into 20. I thought maybe you'd get the volume weighted average price, but if it loses a $20 level, I think it's under some pressure is the nice way to put it. Boeing, I just covered at VWAP. I don't want to be sitting on the offer. Didn't get it all on the trend break, unfortunately. Tried to pick some more up, and then the new story hit, and now we're flushing. So we're still in Intel holding through the 20 break and looking for a pop and fade as well. I saw some people saying they're shorting Tesla. I think if you shorted anything on that news, you're looking good. But look where Tesla bounced.
If you need me to.
Exactly off the volume weighted average price, like the wick. So this is at least holding some support there for TSLA. But I'm thinking trend down at this point. You've wicked the high. You had news driving the market down. I think you got to look to re-enter or add to shorts, re-enter shorts that already look good. But let's go on over and see who this segment's brought to you by.
I am just putting out a bid right now for Boeing, but remember, first it was commission-free trading. Our guy Robinhood made that happen. But the next shift is even bigger. It's limited risk trading. Trade the Pool is rewriting the stock trading rules. Your only risk is a flat one-time fee for as low as $47. How is that possible? You are trading on the company's capital. No deposits are needed, no personal capital at stake. This is about breaking barriers, not your savings account. Just real opportunity without the fear. Make sure you do scan that QR code right now on your screen and join tradethepool.com for 10% off. And you can join Money Mitch over there and his handsome Donald Trumpian-like suit. So thank you so much there, Randy. Oh, by the way, they called back. Air bubble in the coolant system. They took care of it. It's all good. I told the story on air there. These guys, man, absolutely still under warranty.
There's always something.
Like, these guys just making me going crazy over here.
I like that
Stealerships. Yeah, exactly. Trying to get that money. Now, I just wonder if they're going to charge me for the diagnostic, because if they do that, then there's going to be a problem over here. But you know what? As long as they're sending an Uber back and forth, so they're going to pick me up. Yeah, man. You know what it's all about. Right there, it's probably going to be the, what is it, Uber, just a normal one, I guess. They should say you need some Uber Black going on.
Yeah, man, get that hooked up.
Get that hooked up. These guys, man. But anyways, thank you for that, Randy. What do you want to look at? Give me a stock and I'll call that for you. Boeing is sinking. That's not a bad one. You know, if I was trading cruise lines, maybe I would use that one. Yeah, but what's wrong with that?
Boeing sinking?
Well, what happens if it hits ocean?
Well, okay, fine. Although in
Neil,
Miracle on
Randy
the Hudson,
is thinking next level.
Miracle on the Hudson, hey man, Sully made
Randy is thinking next
floated
level.
for a while. It didn't float forever.
I'm going to get out for
Sully,
$1.50
man, that guy's a beast.
right now. I think we should cover some here, Randy, or you want me to wait for the 200 period? What do you want me to do here? You'd get out? Okay. Okay, well, I'm staying in then. Okay, so here we go. I got car issues, man, apparently. So we'll wait to see.
Well, apparently
how many
you don't
times.
have car issues.
Apparently we do not. But my wife is like, well, are they
have
charging
car
you for a diagnostic? Now I'm like, oh, God. Now my blood's already going right there.
Diagnostic.
Okay, so there goes Apple. There goes Boeing. Huge move again. And I just want to, we talk about this all the time. We have new viewers. I want to make sure that everybody hits the like, the subscribe. We are here absolutely every single day. And Neil puts out his note. I put out my note. This is hilarious. I look like, if anybody knows the Toronto Blue Jays, I look like Alejandro Kirk right here, by the way. So shout out to Alejandro Kirk.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I just signed a 5-year, $58 million deal with Trader TV Live as well. I wish.
The difference is you could hit your wing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, I mean, apparently that guy has a good bat. He's got like hand-eye coordination and his swing. Yeah, so I don't know. But all right, so there it is right here. I just want to show everybody. This is the sticky note, El Sticky Nota. And there we go. I'm just learning more Spanish as we go. Right, that was accurate, right, Fabian? Like dinamita. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Fabian. So we have 158 short, right? So that was a good trade. And then we have Apple short at 204. So it's really nice when you write down Apple 204 and it's at 200. And then you also write down Boeing 158, Sharif, and it's at 156. So far, so good, right? Yeah, it's not really that great, actually. But here we go to the downside. Let's see. But looky what we see right here. That's a stop out. So we were short, and then flat. We were slightly red on Boeing as we talked about that, and then that happened. And again, we just waited for 158. So we actually, and notice the price is 157.95. I think you'll notice that with everything that we do around here, especially myself. And I mean, I know the way Neil trades. You don't have to wait for the exact price. So like, even though Boeing, it probably would have printed me 58, it's just like when you look back at it, if you're going to take, like, it doesn't make that much difference. Randy just told me to cover, by the way, and thank God we got out of a little bit. I was already bidding there. But the actual penny won't necessarily matter all of the time, especially when you have a stock like this. And this is what I wanted to show you. It's the spread, right? Like, the spread alone is 15, 20 cents when it opens up, if not more. So the thing is that just because you have 156.06 on here doesn't mean those are actually going to print. There's a lot of in-between prints. So sometimes it's either better to close the gap or just sit a little in front or a little bit behind some of the levels that you like, because you could get that spike through, right? There's a lot of routed orders in the market these days. So they'll go to different these days. I mean, that was the whole point of the whole 2020 there that we talked about with GameStop. But anyways, orders getting routed all over the place. So just pick a gateway, sit on it, and I don't know. I mean, I'm going to ask you right now. I don't know what your answer is. Actually, I think I do. I'm gonna write down what I think your answer is.
This is the dating game? No,
yes.
No, that's not the right one. What's the
Lawns
game?
Okay, hold on a second. ED.
It's the what's the? No, there was an old game show where you'd write down the and then the husband.
The
newlywed game. That's the one I'm thinking of.
So this is a new version of Newlyweds called the Newly Traders. Okay, so something like that. Now,
what you're gonna
I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite gateway to use? Because I was going to say, pick one. So if you come over here and you just look at Apple, for example.
Okay, so we're talking on a moment. It's different on momentum stocks.
Let me just explain to these guys what it is quickly. So you can always choose. Let me go to a slower stock right here. So AT&T, you can choose. That's not that slow.
AT&T.
You can.
Nobody trades AT&T.
I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, you can choose to sit on any one of these stores, basically. NYB, IEX, NASDAQ, ARCA, EdgeX, BATS. So my preference is ARCA. So I like to sit on ARCA just because I don't really, it's ARCA NYSE. But that's what I like to choose to sit on. So if you ever wonder, like, what I'm saying, give me that bid. So like if I'm going to bid 201 flat, I would just bid ARCA 201. So what is your favorite? I wrote down what I think you're going to say.
Okay, so you're probably going to say Edge.
You can't see Edge.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like there's Edge A and Edge X. right? And it's like depending on the stock, Sean knows, like depending on the stock, whichever one tends to feel better on that stock is the one I use. So like there's a whole boatload of Edge X that I'll use, but on other stocks I'll use Edge A. So it's, I knew you were gonna get it right. I'm like, yeah, you already know this because you already.
But I don't know if you would have got ARCA. I should have just say it.
No, I wouldn't have gotten ARCA. I would have.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would.
I do like BAT. I used to like BATs a lot.
I used to use a lot of BATs.
I don't know why that changed.
And for everyone out there, it doesn't
If
make
the sales guy wants to come and give us something to use.
It doesn't make a huge difference, but on some stocks, you're going to find that some print better than others, and it'll matter when you're trading like NEO or Intel or something
Dick
that's
Tracy.
like a Ford maybe. This DWTX just halted to the upside. I guess we got another one here. 71%. Oh, I looked over to point it out to Sharif, but Sharif's not here. 71% to the upside. This is the fourth halt. The third halt of the day, assuming it didn't do one in here. The tap is flat at 520. Don't really have any details on this, but habitual offender here. So it does a couple of days worth of rally and lower highs going into it. A lot of times when I see that pattern, expect another lower high usually is the plan of action. So whether that's this spot at like $6, $7 looks like a big level in there. Obviously 10 is going to stand out. But I do want to go back over to, I want to fade Intel. I just saw Ozan say, make Neil Roberts ARCA again. It's nothing. There was a point when ARCA
doesn't really
for a day trader was like the absolute go-to. And there was, it used to be. It really.
I think ARCA might pay the most fees, but I don't even know that. It's more like it's my F7 key, so it's kind of like it's just what I hit. I trust it. And the thing is that back in the day when, we weren't here at Real Trading maybe as efficient, we would have, and or the market too, you'd have gateways going down. And it's just like, for me, ARCA has just always been something. NASDAQ is a good one, but I don't like to sit on the exchange, which would be the NASDAQ exchange. So sometimes just like tin hat there, like if you have too many orders there, I don't know if the NASDAQ, anyways. But to somebody else's point there, let me just call up, it doesn't really matter, any stock here with 100 shares. So someone said why it was right into here, and they said, and I saw Adara talk about this as well, FREX, which I think is something River. I can't, Fire River? I can't.
We just call it Frex.
Man, damn it. Now I feel like an idiot. I need to figure out what it is before I'm going to mention it. But anyways, Neil and Sean are brothers from different mothers. Different racial mothers as well. All right, so here's here. Why not? Did you just know that? All right, so why not use small? Well, you know what? There's some.
You're not black? Oh, my God.
I could go somewhere with this, but I'm not going to. All right, so why not use.
Oh, that's just.
So this person says here, I've been showing my shoes many times. Why not use smart routing? Says Ollie Twist.
We do.
Right? And so that's what I was going to show you that I was going to use here. I'm going to get the name of it, but I use this. So Fox River. I think it's Fox River for some reason. But anyways, that's fine. They will not, we'll get to there, Ramin. Don't worry, crypto's coming. It's coming. Crypto's not going anywhere. Here's the update. 85,000 crypto. Okay, but just really quickly here. We do have routing. So I think what we would use for routing are our exit liquidity. So for example, like when I got stopped out, and we are going to go to crypto in 1 second, it's just like when I get stopped out right there, I do use a smart router to make sure that I hit all of the available liquidity.
Yes.
So that is a great point. I'm just talking about bidding and offering. So when the market's coming down right here and I'm sitting at 155.50, I'm using ARCA to sit there and take the fill. But when I'm routing out, there's no way I would only use ARCA, because if you only use ARCA and there's a BATS there, it still will route, because there are rules to that, and maybe we can get over that, but I'm going to get in trouble from Ramin if I don't go. So at the end of the day, definitely want to use routing keys as much as possible. So thank you for bringing that up. And most of your brokers will automatically route you anyways. And if there are questions about that, definitely give them a call, because you may be able to choose your destination and it may be cheaper for you. So I would say look that out. And when I already have 84 fills today, fees are definitely something that are on my mind. So, all right, let's just stay here then. Is that what you want to do, Ramin? Now that I've completely squashed this. Okay, perfect. So right now we are going to go over quickly once it comes up on your screen. Unless you want to run the bumper, we can do that as well. There it is right now. it is eSignal. So make sure that you do scan that QR code below. And again, eSignal has the ARCA book. You can check that out. They have live level 2s as well. For me, it's about that hot rate that we showed you guys already. eSignal, go to that app store. They connect to 50 plus brokers. So no matter who you're trading with, I'm not going to guarantee it, but it's pretty much guaranteed that they're going to have connectivity to them. So definitely hit up those charts. Very, very important. And sometimes I think another important thing is, you know, if you're using 50-period moving averages or VWAP or anything like that, sometimes they can be different on different charts based on the time frame. When do they start the charting? When don't they? eSignal has very easy, as do many charts, but customizable start and stop time frames for your charts. So, all right, Neil, we will go to you after because I know you want to show something. But for right now, we do have to go to Adara
It's all good.
for Sector Watch or crypto or something.
We're going to do a fun 2-in-1 segment chapter here. Here's crypto. This is Bitcoin. We were in this nice push here to the upside again off of that double bottom that we kind of finished last Wednesday around that, just above that 75,000 level, continuing to bounce off of that level. Pushing to the upside, I would say around 9:45 today, we made days highs for Bitcoin around that 86.5 level, so eclipsing previous resistance from earlier this week. But we've already given back a lot of that move with the market as of right now, dropping about 1,500 points below that, currently around that 85,000 level for BTC USD. Now, what are some of these other crypto-related names doing? I mean, Bitcoin relatively flat. Ethereum, which had a great day yesterday, down about 3.5%. XRP flat, BNB and Solana both down about 1%. So lots of weakness to varying degrees, but Bitcoin actually held up relatively well compared to its peers. Now we're going to switch into the Sector Watch portion of today's show. Netflix, incredibly strong here, getting a positive note from, I believe, BAC this morning ahead of its earnings. ServiceNow doing really well as well. CrowdStrike, Palantir, but a lot of these other technology services names relatively flat, with Google actually down in the day. Electronic technology, the sector has been very much on watch with both Nvidia and AMD in a 24-hour period, announcing they're going to be working here on some U.S. investment, of course, related as well to tariff concerns. Finance looking really good. Bank of America to the upside, Wells Fargo to the upside, Citigroup to the upside, a lot of these other names strong as well. Retail trade, a little bit mixed. Amazon to the downside, but Walmart and Costco strong. Consumer services, utilities, consumer durables, communications, all having some shades of green as well. Back to you.
I have to apologize to Adara. She was waiting for many minutes
Which is
for that.
Oh, there we go.
Wanted to explain.
Well, I wanted to show this off, and we're shutting an eSignal.
If it was breaking news, we would have gone immediately, right?
Because I could do kill two birds with one stone. So this is AMD on a 3-minute chart. There's my volume weighted average price. And look, I'm not trading off of this, and I'm not like there's your level 1, level 2, your level 1, your level 2 access on eSignal. But you go into VWAP, short it. Into VWAP, all the same indicators as normal. AMD, you know what though? This market, the market's catching a bid a little bit here. Like it looks like a reverse head and shoulders a bit. I just noticed we're holding that support at 18,955, which is the pre-market support level in there. So you might be catching a bid. I don't know if I want to reload in the face of that. I want us resolving underneath the volume weighted average price on the NASDAQ. We'll hold AMD to the 95. Intel's doing the same things before. And I just heard this name on the news that, wow, is CoreWeave, can't be right. Yeah, CoreWeave's almost at $40 here. So if you remember, recent IPO, just, was it a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. It was a $40 issue price. So issue came at $40. Obviously, it held well there. Just last week, it bounced off of 30, it was like 39 change or so, but the curl happened waiting for it to get to 40. So you can see the reversal that this stock had when it lost the issue price. Sometimes history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. If you have any kind of a trend break between 39, 40, somewhere down in here where it bounced, I want to try and grab this. On that same day, I don't remember, it was something at lunch and I missed it and I wasn't either not at my desk or just not paying attention like a fool when it did that reverse on CoreWeave. So if I see that same thing where it trends down into 40 and I can find a nice trend break, I like the CoreWeave long now that it's getting in that zone. So AMD and Intel are both shorts. The market is underneath the volume weighted average price. Tesla, which was super strong, is still holding VWAP. Remember we were saying Tesla on that news story with China bounced right off VWAP. bounced off it again. Tesla's on one today, 1.5% and looking relatively strong. So if you're a bull today, Palantir 3.5, that's holding above VWAP as well. There's some strong stocks, despite the fact that we're looking shorts, and the shorts for the most part have worked.
So so far there today. It's too bad about the TQs. But again, when you're looking over here, I do think it's important that we always talk about, and I'm happy to be where we are right now. We're $2 in the money on Boeing. We're $1.50 in the money on the TQs. But this key FREX that I was showing you guys, the proper name is Fox River. So Fox River there. And I just want to give a shout out to them because that is the routing key that I use. It's wealthy adjusted. It's good for routing out. That's what I use here. So if you are at real trading, and I heard a Derek clapping for it as well. So you do get a little bit better fills. And the reason why you'd want to use an order type like that, especially if you're looking at, I'm just going to call up Netflix or anything that has like this dollar spread. So it's going to be a little fast here, but see these inside prints? Like there's 93, 984.03s. So like, someone just got an 03 print in here. Now it's there. But some of these prints are happening in between. So Fox River or any routing key should hit the liquidity that's unposted if there's dark pools in there. So again, a very, very important key to use at all times there. While we were going to Adair there, we did get more out at the 200 period moving average for Apple. And I just want to say we are less than 10% of this Apple trade. Like when we came, we have to have outs, man. I mean, I wish we would have got more out at 200, but it bounced off 200. Yesterday's sticky note in red, okay, says long 200 on Apple. So it came in today to 200. Now it's up $2 from that spot. The only problem is when it came to 200 today, we were already short 203. So that was a $3 winner. So that was good. But it could be $2 winner, the upside right there. Sometimes you want to get out, you want to review your notes, and there it is right there. So I was pretty happy with that. Someone just said Nvidia to 116. No, it's not that.
No, it's at 111.5. It's not
okay,
moving.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, sorry about
Before, I think we're supposed to go to Deb, but just quick, we had a couple of super chats. I want to make sure we get them in here. KO GTA. Appreciate the super chat, and we'll get to the answers to both the super chats that we just got when we come back from Adair. We have some news.
Nice little push to the upside for the market, but also for AAPL. Apparently, customs data shows that Apple imported iPhones worth nearly $2 billion from India to the U.S. ahead of these Trump tariffs. Apparently, Foxconn said its highest ever value, I guess, of iPhones in a month, worth $1.3 billion from India to the U.S. So lots of iPhones being sent to the U.S. by Apple ahead of these tariffs. We know that we're likely going to see iPhones cost a lot more after tariffs and due to this tariff impact. So AAPL trying to front run that impact. We've already heard reports of this now actually getting a bit of a monetary value according to customs data. Back to you.
Thank you for the story, and I just want to make sure we got to these super chats because the first one, watch all day, every day. We appreciate you. What morning show, pre-market, midday, the market recap show as well. USAR just moved 10% in 5 minutes, stocks going ballistic. You're not wrong about that. 23% now to the upside. We get a second super chat, but this one, that's one heck of a V-shaped recovery. And when you know a stock is doing this, it dipped at the open and ran, and then you're breaking back out, that's trapped some people short because it was trending down all morning long. And when you get something like this, which is trapping some shorts, all you got to do is try to take out that 15 and you can get some continuation. Hopefully it lets some people in with maybe some stair step to the upside. And there was a second one, and it was from Chris L. What a great short on CVNA. Sean, can I get a bang?
Bang.
That's, you know what, Neil? He can get
Carvana.
He gets it.
Carvana, I didn't realize Carvana was up 5%.
You didn't realize that? Well, then.
I did not know.
Nor did I.
And that's with the pullback. It just pulled back like $5. So 2 points. It must have been up 7% on INTC because maybe we're able to get it. I went back and looked at my notes and was like, Neil, you cannot be talking about the $20 level and not covering it at 20. If we break 20, that can be a separate trade on Intel. It held it almost to the penny yesterday. And then before that, it was holding it almost to the penny as resistance. Clearly, it wants to bounce off this level. So I'll get out at 20, reload at VWAP, and then try to short it if we break down underneath.
All right, so hey, this is my guy Rossi right here in Thailand. Hey, what's up, Ross? I already bigged you up there for your
What
Tesla.
just happened?
What happened? The market is Tank City.
My quotes are just...
Yeah, the quotes. There has to be news right now.
Something's
Ross,
happening.
I will adjust this right now. Look at that move down in Apple as well. Boeing, nice move. Apple just touched 201. Damn you, Arca. We did not have a bid out there. I'm going to put another bid out as something's going on. Nice move right there on that. Nice move on Boeing. Just touched 155. So, I mean, I don't think it was a circuit breaker at all or anything like that because nothing really triggered. But nice downside move. This just goes to show. Come on, man, you got to have bids out there. We should have had some trailing bids somewhere in case this happens. Normally, I have those bids out, and I am normally part of these downside wicks. Like, why did Boeing just crack down there $1? Apple, same way, man. Apple was 202.50. All the way down, Apple just went down $1.50. So, interesting news there from Adara, obviously, on those iPhone shipments. I mean, it's nice to see that they trafficked enough over here into the U.S. there from India, but at the same time, like... I don't know. I still hold out hope that this whole tariff thing can get solved. But there it is, man. Yeah, it's funny that technicals used to mean something. I think you're right there. Whoever put that in the chat, I'm not sure how much they mean anymore. But okay, Ross in Thailand.
Trump on something.
Okay, we'll wait for Adara. Let me just address this quickly, and then if Adara does have news, then we will get that. So Ross in Thailand says, "Why was I thinking short on Tesla today?" Okay, thanks, Ross. Again, so when the market opened up today. Tesla, so this is where Tesla closed yesterday, right? So Tesla closes yesterday at around 252. All morning it was low. It was down 1%. So when the market was flat today, Tesla was down. And I had said it even in the chat, in my sticky note, that it was relatively weak. So what I did was I just looked back up into here and said, if we can zoom this back out a little bit, Ross, I just look at support and resistance. So this level right there is 253. That's 253. So all of these levels that I was looking at, sure, we're going to go to Adair right now. 1 second. That's why I was short 253 because it was red in the pre-market. And I just thought on a bump up, I'd like to short it. All right. Miss A, what's up?
We have a Trump Truth Social post. That seems to be what happened here. But it's a very long post. I'm going to try to summarize this. He's mostly talking about how great American farmers are. But because they're so great, now we have a trade war with China, and they're being put on the line. China being unfair to farmers. That is really the crux of this post. So honestly, like, yes, of course, it's about tariffs, but it's mostly just about how China's not being fair to American farmers. He says the USA will protect its farmers, all caps, through exclamation points. And there is a sentence here about Boeing that I want to read because that really seems to be the most market related, at least immediately here. And I'm going to read through this again because I want to specify very long post. Trump says here that China just reneged, quote, on the big Boeing deal, saying they will not take possession of our fully committed to aircraft. So, yeah, that's a direct quote. Again, nothing super market moving here seemingly, but we did get a drop on this Truth Social post. Continuing to read through, mostly about farmers, little sentence on Boeing. And I mean, while we're here, we can take a look at the US dollar. So here is Money Talks. I'll just do the segment because we're right here, and it is 1050. A little bit of a base maybe trying to form here on the US dollar, but we're continuing to see this pattern of we get a little bit of a reprieve from the selling. We have a couple days where we hold relatively flat, and then we push to the downside again. We'll have to wait and see if that's what's happening here on the DXY today. But poised to either get a flat or green day after 3 straight days of selling. Still, though, below that 100 level for DXY. I'm going to read through this Trump Truth Social post. If there's anything of note there, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Well, it's funny. I don't know what my brain should have gone right over to that it must have been a truth. Just so you know what happened. The reason I'm yelling, what just happened, because I was just talking about the bounce and how I should have taken Intel out at 20, right. And it was trending up and it was getting close to VWAP, and then all of a sudden, not only was I filled, but it broke 20, but I was seeing 2007 on my chart, on my level 2. And that's when, the quotes were going haywire because it was just price discovery. So what this tells you is anytime President Trump makes any kind of a truth or a tweet or whatever it might be, the algos are just backing off. And they're just not going to make a market in the interim, which does provide you with some quick opportunities. I wasn't fast enough, but I could have shorted at 2010 in here on that pop. I was trying to wait at 14, like the actual high, thinking in all the chaos, if you just get picked up, it can be a free money scalp trade. So oftentimes, free money is not the right word, but you can get a good price on a stock that you might want to trade already. But just before that happened, we had AMD on a reloaded VWAP. We got some out just underneath 94, 95 half. It broke VWAP. It's back underneath. So it's got a nice little trend down. I want this to settle down a bit, give the market some time to breathe after whatever that, we'll call it like a little bit of a hiccup that we just did overall, because that was absolutely, the price action was nuts, but it's just these market makers not wanting to be caught on the wrong side of any reversals because of a random tweet or anything like this. That provides us traders with opportunities. I'm going to try to get back in on Intel into VWAP, and we'll continue to short the pops there. Palantir, haven't gone long this stock yet, but hey, it's really holding up well. Palantir doing a good job. It just did another higher low. At this point, when you're at this time in the day, I like to slap the trend line on when it's trending up like this into resistance. So you got yesterday's resistance, and you got the third point holding the trend. So I think it's a simple, it breaks the trend, go short. If it holds the trend line, maybe wait till it breaks out that, like this little high here, 96.40. If it can do that and hold trend, maybe try to work into some longs. But finally, Palantir has got something that'll set up for me.
Yeah, and I just on that note as well, like we take advantage of that. So there goes Boeing. We just got filled right there once Adair was talking that story. So I just took a fill there. It was like, okay, it doesn't seem like it's that dramatic, so there's really no point in going down. So we'll take 250 on Boeing right there. And then Apple, we're still in the money $1, but we did get a fill there at the 50-period moving average. Next fill's in and around 200. But the thing is, I keep looking at the chat, and everyone's asking me what's for lunch. All right, all right. Yeah, she was actually pretty good. I feel like there was some good responses to that lime marinated chicken there. Soy lime marinated chicken was yesterday. So today's, fixing my chart. Ooh, shout out to the caterers. I'm not sure if it's going to be any good or not. I can't remember the last time they had this. But today, it's homemade bolognese. So that could be okay there with linguine, steamed vegetables, and a little Caesar salad. So I don't know, there's a chance there that it's okay. The bolognese, at least it's more of a lunch idea there. So it's better than having like that big, huge lasagna sometimes that they'll bring in there. But homemade bolognese, linguine, steamed veg, and Caesar salad. So yeah, so it should be okay. What's for lunch seems like it'll be a good one.
What's interesting to me is they never do like a straight up mac and cheese. We were having this conversation.
I think they did one time when it was, no, not the new caterers, but we've had straight up mac and cheese. We just got new caterers.
You can't go wrong with like the the good mac and cheese. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Well,
like
yeah, I mean,
when you get a good barbecue going. I want to get that mac and cheese, some barbecue.
Yeah, you got to have it with barbecue ribs.
Well, they're not going to do ribs. I don't think these guys will ever give us ribs. I bet barbecue chicken,
they will
mac
give
and
us
cheese,
ribs.
some slaw. I'm not going to ask for collards because, quite
collard
frankly,
greens. They might have collard greens.
No, they're not going to make collards.
Why not? They have bok choy.
True, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done right.
Well, that's a different story.
It's got to be done right. So we're catching a bit of a bid here. Look, like I said, I got out of Intel on that bounce, and we got out of AMD as well. I want Palantir to either break this top. If we break this high on PLTR, like this local high, then I want to start working longs off this trend line. But because we're trending back down into it, I'm still looking for the trend break for the fade here in PLTR. Mike DeRider, you're absolutely right. I am hungry. I do like time restricted eating. Like I don't eat past 8 o'clock and I don't start eating until 8, and I don't even I don't eat much in the mornings. It's better now because they bring us these breakfast sandwiches, which I'm eating, but I'm hungry when we get to 11 o'clock. Like my biggest,
But then the breakfast sandwich would violate the time eating, wouldn't it?
No. I have
it starts in the morning.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly 8 o'clock because I usually stop eating generally by like 7:30, but I just try not to eat after 8. So as long as between 7:30 and 8, like I won't have coffee. It's just water up until then.
Right.
I just find it stops me from bad snacking. Whether or not it actually works scientifically, I don't care.
Until your daughter gets older, man, you'll be eating like at 10 at night.
No, that's the one. I've been hardcore. I don't even get hungry at night anymore.
Right, that's good, yeah.
Like it's crazy. Even if I have a small dinner, like it's like 9, 10, even if we're watching a movie or whatever, I just feel zero need to snack. I sleep much better because of it. That's been a huge change for me, so I'll never give it up because my sleep has improved dramatically when I stopped eating late.
Yeah, exactly.
To each your own, man. You do what works for you,
Well, I don't I mean, I think for a health kick, I don't think it's very great to like be pounding back food right before bedtime. But I ain't no doctor, although I may look like one. Okay, so yeah, no, and we someone's like, yeah, too many carbs. We just get like Neil and I just get the salad. So there will be very limited carbs on that salad there today. So I'll show it to you. And often I come on the midday show. So when I'm here to have that, I'll bring it on the midday, and you guys can see that one there. So there we go. Food is what makes our show shine. Well, thank you so much for that one. That was just a little segment that I had sort of brought in there talking about what's for lunch. So glad to do it, and it's fun talk. Just separates trading a little bit. Okay, that's that. All right. I don't know. I heard some people talking again. You had mentioned it, and I apologize if you had already gone over it. But yeah, CoreWeave down here at 4. Did you talk about it?
It's actually maybe holding right now.
Right. So CoreWeave all the way down 6% today. There's I mean, naturally, there's got to be a story here, I would assume, with CoreWeave being down this much. But at the end of the day, I mean, this should be a decent level down near $40. I mean, it came out at what, 39, was it? No, sorry, 30. Yeah, it was 39. So the IPO comes out at 39. So you're not that far away. If, we talked about how, ARM had its moments, and so did Reddit, where they all came back underneath its IPO price, and then absolutely took off. And then everyone's, including Neil, I'm not even in ARM, you don't want to chase it once it's there. So if you do like the name, again,
you're 40 now.
You have a chance. Like there's ARM going out, right, at 56, goes all the way to 74, and then goes well underneath that IPO price, down to 47 and change. And the same is true for Reddit. So some of the last popular IPOs, which I feel like CoreWeave, came out with some good hype behind it. Reddit was something very, very similar where this one, I thought this was like maybe $36 or something. But anyways, there's the move up, very similar to, this actually looks exactly like CoreWeave, to be honest with you. Here's the move up and here's the move back down. So yeah, I guess 46, sorry, not 36 for Reddit. And then the bottom was that 37.38. So you did go $10 under. You did go under by about 20% of the IPO price before this. So just looking again, if we call up CRWV, just because, that looks something similar to the way that Reddit looked, where you go up, then you come back in, and you just chill, lax. So yeah, this could be a good opportunity there. If you did like CoreWeave, pick some up, right? I mean, if you're looking to invest $1,000, put in $100 today, into this name. It's not investing advice. It's just, that's a strategy. Dip buy some of these IPOs because price discovery is still uncertain. Yes. So we don't know exactly where this is going to go, but CoreWeave right now down 7%, 6% and change, giving you an opportunity right now.
Well, for today, and only because it did this on, what is this? So that'd be last week, Wednesday? Or, yeah.
Well, Wednesday was the day that was crazy.
Wednesday was that crazy day. The reversal off this level was insane. It did actually break 40, but Wednesday was a different day. But I said I would just wait for a trend reversal. So waited for it to make, and sometimes I'll look at, this is the day-long trend, which you can respect. But once you lose VWAP, I tend to look at these flat bottom breaks as significant as well, right? So I'm talking about the trend since it broke the low from yesterday. Like it goes another parabolic move down. There's your steeper trend line. So that's the first entry point there. It kind of held the prior bar close. So got into the long, and we give it to the low in here and look for a VWAP retracement. What I will respect, though, is the day-long trend sits here. And if I'm in front of the day-long trend, I want to make sure, as it's testing it, that I get something out on a CoreWeave. The other thing is, man, Intel won't pop. Intel's just resisting. So the bottoming tail candle, I know that looks like a good long because it was on all that volume. That was that Trump thing. The Trump tweet. So I don't know if I want to call a reversal on this. I'm still thinking the short into VWAP and Intel. So we're in a CoreWeave. We're looking at Intel. It's already 11 o'clock, which I just looked over and realized. That means, hey, we'll be back at 2. But you guys have the Bash Brothers. You've got Joey options. You've got Sharif. You'll have lessons. You get some trading. There's plenty of small caps moving. And as I said, we'll be back a little bit later after we have